Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Laureli Shimayo. This is the MeWe Awakening panel for energizing body, mind, heart, and soul. We have events throughout the Northwest when we do things in person, and we do lots of events online. We have fairs and panels, and this is one of our panels. Our panels involve a particular theme. We have practitioners that specialize, can speak to that theme, and then we take questions from the audience. It's free to be here to listen and learn from all that's shared, and it's a small price if you'd like to ask a question of the panel. We have many panel members tonight, many practitioners on the panel. I think including me, there are 11. We're all here now. So chances are we won't have every practitioner answer your questions. It will only be some of them. If there's someone that you particularly connect to that you definitely want to have answer, we might have you share who that is. So we have them start earlier on in the process to make sure you get to hear from them. They have something to share with you. Let's go through and start having our practitioners introduce themselves. And so many more people are joining. I keep adding people. It's great. And more people. All right, let's see. I didn't think of anything else I need to share right now. I guess I put information in the chat. I'll add it in the chat again about how it works tonight. You can see the names of all the practitioners. I will put their contact info in just a minute. I need to add a little bit more to the notes first. And it's the price for asking a question is $16 to $24 or sliding scale. We have recommendations of what those prices are. And then it's $10 if you're BIPOC. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get the practitioners starting to introduce themselves. And let's just go ahead and start at the top of my list. So I've got Susan, Amanda, Galactic. Well, let me just read off the whole list so you all know where you're coming. Susan, Amanda, Galactic Ashley, Marcia, Wyatt, Chaz, Sandra, Michelle, Rachel, and Daniel. So that'll be the order that we'll work with. So I'll call you out as we get closer. So Susan, Amanda, Galactic Ashley, and go ahead and take 2 or 3 minutes. All right, Susan.
Hi, welcome everybody. I'm Susan Watkins with Inspired Life Essential Wellness, and I'm a sound healing practitioner, predominantly using crystal and Tibetan singing bowls, as well as some other various instruments. I'm a Reiki master, as well as an intuitive reader, predominantly with oracle cards. And I utilize the singing bowls and the instruments a lot of times with the Reiki practice, like if I'm going through and notice a blockage or something that feels kind of sticky, I might place if it's an in-person session, I may place a bowl around that part, or as sound is vibration, there are certain notes that correspond to different placements, energy centers within the body. So I may use a bowl that corresponds with that place to help break up any kind of blockages so that the energy is flowing more freely and you feel more balanced and your best self. So I look forward to sharing this evening with this wonderful panel of people. I'm so excited, and welcome. Thank you for sharing your time and your evening with us.
Thanks so much, Susan. All right, let's see. So Amanda, if you are ready, let's get you to share and I'll spotlight your screen. Okay.
All right. Hi, I'm Amanda Root. I'm a Coyote intuitive, a rune caster, and I keep not knowing what to call this. If I call it energy art or spirit art, I'm not sure, but I draw pictures and I get these ideas. They come, I don't know where they come from. They come from spirit. And lately I've been drawing these flowery things too. They're like mandala-like for people. I always draw the rune wheel and draw around it. And then I read basically what the pictures are saying, the relationship of them to the symbols, the relationship to each other, and that kind of thing. I spend a lot of time doing that now. But back in the day, in one of my past lives, I was a music therapist and I had a master's degree. Well, I still have my master's degree, but I worked with all different kinds of populations of people using music as a tool in therapy session. So I'm extremely tuned into sound, and sound is very, I just say I'm tuned into sound, like not in a very specific way. Like if the sound of the vibrating washing machine doesn't match with like someone's cell phone tone, I'm gonna be like, it's gonna aggravate me. I definitely like everything to be like in alignment sound wise. But let's see, I'm trying to think what else I can say about this. Laureli, do you have anything else I should say? Do you have questions for me about this, or is that good?
Well, yeah, we talked a little bit maybe about music therapy. Did you want to say just a little bit about what that is?
Oh, sure. It's a form of therapy, and it's basically it's an alternative form of therapy, but compared to spiritual circles, it's fairly mainstream. because it's measured and it's scientific. I worked with, for instance, my thesis was with Alzheimer's patients, and I would measure their responses after the music session that we had together, during the music session, and based on like how their memory would improve on questions that they were asked. So, and then, you know, you got to do like the statistics and all the stuff, the science, and you get the answers. But I don't go to the spiritual side of music so much, I think, because of my scientific connection with it from the past, if that makes sense. But I feel like I didn't explain it. I was doing a lot of improvisation and using music. So instead of like having counseling therapy, right, you talk to people, this would be more like everyone has an instrument and you're communicating through the instruments, and then you process and talk about what was happening in the music after. That was better. Okay. It's been a little while since I did it. But anyway, now I'm drawing.
That's great. All right. Let's see, Galactic Ashley, go ahead. You're next. Thanks so much, Amanda.
Hi. So I'm Galactic Ashley, and I channel divine guidance for star seeds, connecting them to their star families and galactic lineages. I use light language frequencies and work with your cosmic connections to facilitate high frequency healing transmissions and encoded activations. So I facilitate galactic guided intensives, which are 10-week programs. And the next one, which starts April 5th, just happens to be Light Language Activation and Healing Program. And this course helps metaphysical practitioners and those passionate about collaborating with the universe to embody purer states of consciousness. So you learn to engage and integrate light language's healing frequencies into aspects of your daily living, metaphysical and healing practices, so that you can more easily enter and hold higher coherent, resourceful states of being in the midst of duality and other conflicting situations that sometimes arise just by existing here on this planet. So during this, so for those of you that might not know what light language is, it's basically one of our most divine gifts that comes through us. It can come through us in like the way that could come through us through hands, so like through movement, through our whole body movement, through our voices, through toning, through singing. It's an extremely powerful tool, and I believe it's one of our most important tools and access that we have to ourselves, right? So we can really emphasize and build a deeper relationship with our higher self and with our beings. It can help to facilitate opening to your galactic lineages, your multidimensional aspects, and really anchor them into your physical structure. So I'm excited to be here.
Thanks so much, Galactic Ashley. All right, let's see. So the order is shifting up a little bit. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead, Marcia, and then Wyatt.
Hello, everyone. I am Marcia Reichert. Marcia Colver is what I go by when I work. I have channeling divine, and when I work, I sing and balance people's energy. So when I'm working, I'm usually singing a song, usually Celtic music. I also do massage therapy. I'm a Reiki master, so I know all different kinds of energy work and how to balance meridians as well. So I work with Eastern and Western medicine, both. And when I sing, I'm a shaman as well. So I move through your energy and help you discern where you might have blocks in that energy, where you might need some clearing, and what we need to work on in order to clear those out. The way I discovered what I do is that I was doing a massage on a friend of mine who was helping me with Galactic, and I asked him if I could sing while practice singing while I was working on him, and I realized that his muscles would just melt underneath my fingers while I was working, and I thought that was really, really cool. So I tried it on different people, and the only thing I could find in research was people using one note at a time to tone. So I tried that, but I knew there was more. So I started using the Celtic music and then expanded into other kinds of music as well. Blues works really well. Specifically though, the Celtic has the specific notes. They use a lot of minors in the scales, and specific notes seem to help resonate with people so that they can release emotions better. So I'm looking forward to answering all kinds of questions tonight. So.
Great, thank you. Okay, let's see. Who's next? We've got Wyatt, and then we're going to go to Sandra and then Michelle. Go ahead, Wyatt.
Hi, everyone. My name is Wyatt Larsen. I am a shaman.
Wyatt, it's really hard to hear you.
How about that? Let's move this closer to my face.
It's still pretty hard to hear you. I can't hear you at all right now.
Okay, how about that?
Go ahead. I think that's how it is.
No. Okay. Move on. I'll figure it out.
Sandra, I can't hear you at all though. So maybe you're muted. Are you here?
Oh, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay. That was me. All right.
Hi, I'm Sandra Jeffs. I do energy healing, which is called Soul Essence Awakening. And it's a compilation of all of the modalities that I've done over the past 45 years. Sound is an integral part of it. I first learned toning and chanting back in the mid-70s. I'm dating myself. And I've always continued doing that. And in the late 70s, I took a course that was a workshop that was to learn about your personal song and to define what your personal song is. Music, sound, and especially when we are emitting the sound, vibrates and can align us and can heal us faster than almost anything else other than the breath. So it's really critical from a healing standpoint to be hearing and to be feeling that. And the more you can vocalize it and get that energy going, the stronger it is. I also use laughter. I teach laughter yoga, and the amazing and astonishing results that you get when you are vocalizing, whether you're laughing, toning, singing, whatever it is really critical. So it's integrated and woven in through the things that I do rather than do so much as a healer toning myself. I encourage the client to learn to tone for him or herself so that it ups their ability, and it also gives them that skill that they can take with them anywhere at any time to continue the healing on their own. So I also have a program that I designed for myself to heal from severe trauma, and had put that out with the trauma victims that I work with. And it's totally free. It's really simple. I have 350 songs that I've vetted that are free on my website to get the list, that are positive songs, positive things that you can listen to inspire you, to move you. And you just get up every morning for 15 minutes while you're getting ready to do your day, listen to the music and set your bar for where you want to be. If you want to be confident, if you want to be healthy, strong, loving, whatever it is. And for me, it was one of the key factors that healed me and allowed me to move beyond severe trauma as a child and as an adult woman. So my website is sandrajeffs.com, and I look forward to working with people or talking to people. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Sandra. All right, we've got Michelle and then Rachel.
Namaste. This is Michelle Skolsky Boyd. I got my drum ready. I'm excited. I'm a best-selling author, a hypnotherapist, a Reiki master teacher, and an intuitive medium. I was first discovered by Bob Olson when he interviewed me on Afterlife TV, and he made me one of his top best psychic mediums. I did that for 4 years, and then I stepped down because I wanted to become a mom. And so we adopted a little girl, and I'm just starting to get back into the groove of things again. So I'm very excited to be on this panel. And I love, love, love the topic tonight. So I almost begged Laureli to help me be on this panel. Just please let me be on the panel, because music is just such a joy to my heart. And there's so many things that we can do with music. And I just encourage everybody who's here just to remember what it's like when somebody lovingly says your name. You know, when somebody just lovingly says your name, it's like the greatest sound in the world. And so that's just one way that we can heal with sound, and we can then turn that into music. And so I believe each one of us has a song inside of us, and we usually sing it when we're little kids, and it can be like language, or, you know, it can be our own song. And it's very, very awesome if you forget who you are, to have a sound healer remind you of who you are through music. Because once you remember who you are, it can assist with some amazing things like 5D integration, wholeness, all of this beautiful clearing. So I'm very, very honored to be here, and I'm really excited about it, as everybody can tell. So thank you again, Laureli, for allowing all this beautiful music to happen tonight.
You are so welcome. All right. Thanks, Michelle. All right, so we've got Rachel, Daniel, and then Chaz.
Hi everyone, I'm Rachel. I'm an intuitive, a sound healer, and soul writer based in Melbourne, Australia. I'm really happy to be here today and connect with you all. I'm really, really passionate about sound and the effect it has on the body. As humans, we are all vibrational beings, and we all emit a certain sound. So working with sound really helps us to clear blockages, to help bring forward new energies, and to really shift things that may have been holding us back. I'm also a soul writer, so I work one-on-one with people to help them reconnect with their soul voice, to remember who they are, and also heal from past traumas and bring in new energies for healing. And I also work as do Reiki as well, and intuitive healing, where I tune into the body and really connect, and basically I work intuitively with everything with sound, just really connecting to the body and just seeing what needs shifting or what areas may need working on. And yes, I'm just really happy to be here. My website is templeofeden.com.au, and I look forward to answering your questions on sound.
Thanks so much, Rachel. All right, Daniel, and then Chaz.
Hello, everyone. I'm Daniel Steinmetz. I'm a licensed consciousness-oriented body worker and a personal wellness consultant. I'm going to start a timer because I tend to have too little or too much to say, so watching myself. Let's see, I bring to my practice, which I call body-based whole person wellness, that my license is around touch with the body, but you can't take apart who we are. We're a mixture of body, emotions, thoughts, and lots of levels of spirit. So to me, I have to be with the whole person in my work. Let's see. I have to keep reminding myself that the topic tonight is sound, because I approach life kind of unconsciously, just as vibratory realities throughout the day. It's not something where I have to click into, oh, what's vibratory attitude? That's just, to me, how living is. My belief is we are unable to be anything but vibratory. That's just our nature. And then sound is when vibration becomes audible. And it's an important part of life, but we're always being vibratory. So I have to keep reminding myself that this is about what we can hear with our ears, because there are specific tools that are geared to audible sound. though to me, all of existence and all of our presence is about vibratory realities, this incredible symphony that we are all emanating and everyone around us is emanating, the whole world is emanating, and it's an unconscious participation in the orchestra of life for the most part. But I'm interested in it helping become more conscious. So the therapeutic work that I do brings 25 years, 4,000 hours of training in a whole range of consciousness-oriented modalities, hands-on, much of it. So I've been in the last 4 or 5 years diving deep into tuning fork work. And in person, I do hands-on and tuning fork sessions. Currently, I'm adapting things to distance, and I'm developing and researching the technologies to have very high quality sound transmitted over the internet, higher quality than most humans need. So I'm working with audio engineers to pioneer some of that for myself at least. What else to say? I think I'll probably leave it there so I don't go over time. Anything I'm missing, Laureli? Any holes I should fill in?
No, I think it's great. It's great. And we'll also have a chance for practitioners to all, after everyone shared, you can go back and see if there's anything else you want to sprinkle in that you got reminded of. So Chaz, it is your turn.
Good day and blessings, everyone. I'm Chaz from Vibrational Souls. On the yang side of life, I am a music and sound therapist. I am also a music engineer and sound engineer with a master's degree. I work with neuropaths and different naturopaths at a naturopath clinic to create different types of biofrequencies and different types of music based upon frequencies of the body and different types of emotions and psychological settings inside of our mind and our nervous system. I work with different types of technology that I create. I create frequency pillows, I create vibrational sound tables, and I create what I like to call biofrequency fractal music that is based upon different types of frequencies in the body and the emotions, not just the frequencies that are the scientific side that work on healing and restoring and bringing the cymatic code back to the particular organ or cell, whatever we're working with, but actually the emotion that it's covered with and working with the music that correlates with it and creating a whole unique pattern. So I help different practitioners like massage therapists and people that are wanting to bring sound healing into their life. I sell sound healing bowls, singing bowls, 7 metal singing bowls, crystal singing bowls, tuning forks. I also sell the sound tables and teach practitioners how to bring them into their, pardon me, I'm getting all vibrational. How to bring that into their practice. Different massage artists, it can be a no-touch massage using frequency-based sound tables and the different types of aspects of sending frequencies into the muscles, into the organs to create different types of release, different types of elements and cymatic codes that help all different types of things. So I'll put some information in the chat that can bring you to the website and the different types of information. I work with Vibrational Souls, the great soul of the universe. On the other side, I have worked in alchemy and in hermetics. I have went down to the pyramids. I started working with the elders down in Palenque and the Mayan hermetic tradition about 9 years ago. And they've been teaching me the ancient hermeticism of geomancy and how different types of geometry creates different types of frequency and how to use that ancient knowledge with stones, with different types of buildings. And also now I do it with creating with the music and the technology that I create. So I work in a very shamanistic way, but I'm much more rooted in the hermeticism, who build the temples, who build the ancient sound healing monuments across the great planets, and the coding that they use and rebirthing that back into technology and into music. I love upgrading people and making them feel exciting in life. So I'm looking forward to hearing and sharing with this beautiful panel of people. Thank you.
Great, thanks so much. And Chaz is joining us for the first time for one of our online events. And I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader and a body psychology coach. I appreciate sound and appreciate music. And part of what I love doing with these events actually is I really enjoy speaking and just hearing my voice and the resonance through my throat. Right? It's great. I think all of us, when we're doing things that we love, we probably get that much deeper of a resonance through our body, through all that we're doing, and from the voice, the sound that we make. I know I also love music and the impact it has on me in my life. I particularly love choral singing, and I'm like feel nervous. I'm like losing my words, but the choral music that's not accompanied. And when I want to impact my mood, the thing that I've always gone to do is listen to music. I think so many of us have so many like memories. I know like sound is one of the senses that we have deep memories with, and I know sound must be one as well too. Oh, so yeah, I'm mostly here just to learn and explore with all of you. And it's just a great opportunity for me with all the different panels, right, to get to learn from all the great practitioners that are here. I want to mention too that Amanda had to leap out. She had something come up with the kids. So Amanda is available also generally with a special, and she does great work, and she'll be available at our other panels and our other fairs. All right, let's see. All right, so practitioners, if there's anything else you want to jump in and share about your work and the connection to sound, listening to each other might have brought something up. Go ahead and just jump in and share.
Is it okay if I do my part now? Or can you
Oh,
hear
Wyatt,
me?
yeah, that's right. I forgot. Please go ahead, Wyatt. Yes, yes, yes. For some reason, I still have, your voice is just lower, but yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, as long as people can hear me. So hi everyone, my name is Wyatt Larsen. I am a shaman and spiritual life coach. I blend the ancient and the modern practices to help my clients move forward or begin their path of healing. You can find me at thewildwoodhollow.com. Contact me at thewildwoodhollow@gmail.com, excuse me. As a shaman, sound is very intricate in our practice. It is the drum, pretty much, is our boat. It is how we enter non-ordinary reality to do the practices that we do, to help heal, to help those that need crossing over, to do extractions, to do everything we need. And being human, we react very significantly to sound, whether it is a drum, where we can enter this shift of consciousness, whether it is a whistle or a flute or choral music. It is our way to connect. Since very ancient times, drums being one of the first instruments, it is, in my idea, ingrained into our DNA. We react to it. We want to dance. We want to sing. These are very primal emotions, very primal wants. And so by accessing that, we're able to shift our own consciousness, to find our own reality, to find how we find our power. So by practicing what I do with the drum, with my flutes, with my wind whistles, and so on and so forth, I can help my own clients move forward and find their own powers. It's very interesting and very, it's an intricately woven tapestry of music. That's, I guess, the best way to do it, to speak about it. So anyway, I am very glad that I am here and majority of you can hear me now. So let us move forward. Super excited that we're here.
It's great. And I didn't realize that was a drum. Can you just say something about your drum or show me the drum? It looks so flat from here that I can't see what type of.
Yeah. So this is my moose hide drum. It is my boat, horse, chariot into the spiritual worlds. I did paint it as my handprint, my power animal. I'm very connected to the runes, very similar to Amanda Root. It is my heritage in a way. I am Norse ancestry, so it is something very dear to my heart. So this is my drum. This is my power.
Great. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So practitioners, so anyone else, you have anything else you want to jump in and share that just reminded you about sound healing and something you want to contribute before we go to questions? Great. Maybe no one does. All right, great. Well, let's see. So this is our MeWe Awakening panel, and tonight our topic is sound healing. For those of you that just joined, I put a little bit of information in the chat, and I will. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, Chaz. Okay, great. I understand by what your special is. I'll tune it on my list. So all the practitioners, I'm going to be putting their information in the chat again, so you'll be able to see all the info about them and how to contact them. And they do have specials. So if you'd like to reach out to them to do something, to do some work with them separately, they offer their work in usually smaller packages and smaller prices as a result of you being here at the event. And I'm also going to put information in the chat about filling out a feedback form to share information with us about tonight, feedback with us so we can help make the events better and better. And if you give us your email address, we'll put you in a drawing for a free 30-minute session with one of us of your choice. And all the practitioners will then be able to share all their different events and all other information about their work with you too. So before we start answering questions tonight, so keep in mind that this is recorded and it will get posted online. So if you want to work with the practitioners privately, I encourage you to do that. And oh, yes. So I see something on there I will remove. And then let's see. And so when you ask a question, so we're going to be answering and we may go deeper than you want us to go, or we may wander into other topics that for us are related, but you don't want us sharing about that here. And that's fine. We just need to know about that. And so please just let us know if that comes up. Just unmute and let us know, wave your hands, write in the chat, etc. Anything to get our attention so we can shift directions. And then also, we believe that everyone's intuitive, and in particular, this is a great opportunity for you to practice your own intuition. When someone asks a question, you may have something that comes through you. I encourage you to write it down because often those things don't last. And then if you want, you can see, like, do some of the practitioners end up mentioning some similar things? And it's just a great way for you to get a check-in to see, like, are other practitioners picking up the same kinds of things? Often even coming from all these different directions, we land on something related. And you may have something come through you that is unique and equally valid. It just happens to not be shared with anyone tonight. I request that you allow the attention to stay up on the panel members tonight. So if something does come through for you, you're welcome when we're done answering someone's question to privately chat with them and ask them if they'd like to hear what came through for you. It's possible that they feel full after hearing from so many people. So please just honor whatever it is that they share and trust that it came through you for some reason. Yeah, so I encourage all of you just to explore and play and learn together. We all together are part of what's holding the space for all of us being here and doing this together. All right, and I say that's really the incentive for MeWe. It's metaphysics and wellness, and also me and us and all of us doing it together as a community. All right, well, let's see. So I possibly have one person in line, but I may not have anyone in line with questions right now. So you can get right to the front of the line if you want. It's $16 to $24 to ask a question of the panel, and yeah, $10 for BIPOC. And let's see. So we might have, is Diane here tonight? No. Yeah, so we actually might not have anyone on the line right now. We haven't had this now in months and months. And so if you want to ask a panel, and you'll hear from all of the different panel members, we're generally available to answer questions on anything. Chances are we'll ask from a perspective of sound healing and using sound tonight. Oh yeah, Michelle, I'm great with doing something like that. I'm great with that. So Michelle's suggesting that we open the space with a circle of sound. I have no idea how we might do that in Zoom. So you have some ideas, you go ahead and lead the way.
I'm feeling really called just to sing, just to like to open the space. So yeah, anybody just join in. Doesn't matter if you're a practitioner or not. But
I say, and if we unmute and if we do that, I just know that it goes in and out with different people and all that. And so if that works okay, that's fine, but we won't know like how to follow. So it's up to people what to do. Well, that's great. If anyone else wants to contribute something as the opening, that's great. Practitioners, if you'd like to.
Anyala hana hunyala shunyahan Anyala hanyala umahanyala shin yala hanyawa wamanyaya hundai shin yalam anyala hum in yala ya hunya umanyala haya umahanyala shu anyala hanyala hunyala shinda hana akaina ushta.
Shul, shul, shul harum, shul gosakir, shul kokyon, shul godar sagas oledion. Iskoche to one in slun.
Anyone else have anything they want to share? Any practitioners? Okay. Yeah, that was beautiful. All right. Well, amazingly, we don't actually have any questions on the right now. So practitioners, I'll open up the floor to us first. If any of us have a question, that might be a way that we can get started. Oh, someone just sent payment. All right, we got someone in line. All right, well, Laura, let's get you started and I will go gather all the information after. All right, Laura, go ahead and jump in.
Hi, I just didn't like seeing you guys having nobody there to ask you questions. So
Oh,
I'm going to do it for the first time.
thank you.
You know, this is a topic that I'm very fascinated with because I've found, like, you know, there's this fun shop. I live in Colorado and a bunch of, you know, awesome hippies, and saw some of those, you know, sound bowls at a place, and my husband was playing different ones, and a couple just made me want to. It was like an ice pick to my head, and the guy at the shop, he's like, well, maybe that's the one you need to hear. You know, maybe that's good for you if it's like making you want to run from the building, which it did. And I'm like, no, I like soft, you know, I like to have things feel good. And they're like, I don't know, you know, sometimes, you know, medicine hurts. So I was curious about that. And then one thing, I don't know, and this is off topic, but as long as you guys are all like super knowledgeable people on different topics, I would love to make contact with my spirit guides. I have a friend who says she sees them, she talks to them, got a couple, you know, and, you know, she can relay for me, but I can't. And one thing I do know is I've got a wall that's like a fortress, a protective wall. So, you know, a lot of it's on me. So a couple things would be, what type of sound might be best for me? Because I love my the metal drums. I'm losing the word right now. But I also like string, you know, and I love having something just laying on my back and played and feeling the vibrations go through and that kind of thing. I love that. And so I was thinking about, you know, ordering something one time. And my friend who will talk to my spirit guides for me, she says, nope, that's not actually your instrument. They think you'll figure it out. And I haven't. So maybe you guys can give me a nudge in the right direction in those two things.
All right, great. Thanks so much for your question. And let's see, I'm gonna experiment with putting you in pin and then practitioners. So practitioners, if you want to answer, it's best if you raise your hand in Zoom software.
Oh, I was just saying cute dog. Sorry.
Oh, Yes.
I love dogs.
It's a beautiful dog, Wyatt. Yeah, so practitioners, if you want to answer, if you can raise your hand in chat, that would be the best, or raise your hand in the Zoom software is the best thing for me. If you haven't updated Zoom in a while, it's in the participants panel. And if you have, go down to the bottom, click reactions, and at the bottom of the reactions panel that opens, it's raise hand. Yeah, so who wants to respond to Laura? Yeah, and I've got the notes in that document too. So, oh, and Diana's here too, great. So we've got Diana in line also. So yeah, what sound would be best for Laura? And then you asked about connecting with your guides too, I think.
Yeah, if anybody gets a hit on that, I'd sure appreciate it.
Great. Oh, all right, great. We've got Marcia and then Sandra and then Chaz. All right, go ahead, Marcia.
So I wanted to just speak a little bit to what the owner of the shop said about the bowls. If it was a man-made bowl, was it, well, let me ask you, was it crystal or was it Tibetan? Perhaps.
It was heavy, it felt like glass.
Okay,
maybe it's
probably crystal. And it might have been, the overtones in that might have been a little too much for you. And I mean, I'm not one to say that whatever drives you nuts is what you need, So I would go with lower tones to begin with. And perhaps you look like kind of an earthy person. Are you an earthy person?
I've been called the granola girl most of my life. Yeah.
So perhaps the lower tones are what's best for you. Maybe that's where you live. You might like an air sign might be somebody that wants the overtones, the really high tones. But go with what feels good for you. If you don't like the bowl, you're not likely to use it anyway. So, and then, if you need to work up to that, then you can perhaps do that. But yeah, that's what I was saying. As far as your guides go, I see a Native American guide that is a woman, a grandmother, and she's very beautiful, and I always respect them a lot anyway. She wants to help you. I'm not getting a name, but names aren't really important as far as I'm concerned. So, but just relax and allow her into your heart and see what she has to say for you.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, thanks, Marcia. All right, we've got Sandra, Chaz, and then Susan and Wyatt.
Yeah, I hear that you have 6 main spirit guides around you, and that you've got a heart wall that's blocking. I don't know how you determined a wall, but the heart wall often is about fear and protection. A lot of past lifetimes when you misused the power or misinterpreted what you were hearing from your guides and went off in different directions. So the heart wall is there to protect you so that you don't do harm, even though this is a whole different lifetime. So what I'm hearing is F is the tone for the heart chakra to open that energy. And if you work with singing bowls, if you work with the Tibetan singing bowls, they're not all equal because some of them have been manufactured and they say that they're at an F tone or an A sharp or whatever, and they really aren't. So work with somebody that really knows the bowls, whether they're the crystal bowls or the Tibetan brass bowls, handmade, and that the note is exact, because that makes a real big difference to being able to work with it. And as Marcia said, it's really important that you resonate to whatever instrument is out there that you pick. If you're not sure and you can't make up your mind, then it's not yours. And don't waste time even thinking about it. Just, and every single bowl has its own particular energy signature, even though they're all made the same, were rated the same as supposed to be. They're not, just like we're not. You may be an identical twin and it looks like you're the same, but you're not. You have different energies, different vibrations. So it's a matter of trusting that. You also have a lot of angels around you, not just spirit guides. The thing about the angels is that you have to ask for their help. And so you have to say, angels, help me. I want to open my heart chakra and get rid of this wall and be able to communicate with my spirit guides more correctly. If you ask them, they'll help you do that. They'll give you that guidance. But if you don't ask, they're just hanging out there waiting, going, okay, when is she going to recognize us? Because they're there for your benefit to help you.
I ask so much, I feel like a fool, like I'm talking to a barn wall, you know, and the wall's never going to answer. But I think maybe I'm talking to my own wall. But I don't know. I've sure asked a lot and just kind of thought I'm being silly.
If you've been asking and it hasn't happened, then step 2, working with somebody who knows the bowls, who knows the tuning forks, who knows and who can really assist you with that. Work with somebody who knows how to clear that energy and open that heart wall and get it out of the way for you. Because sometimes we're just in our own way. And you need to get that energy vibration correct so that you feel safe, so that you can begin working with them. And that's what a blockage in the heart chakra is. It's not feeling safe, even though in this lifetime you may feel safe. Mm-hmm. But you've got to clear out that past lifetime, that other stuff. Any questions?
No, I think I know exactly when I put the heart wall up in my own life. So yeah, I just need to know that you're okay now. You survive everything you have so far. You will again. Yeah. And let it down, but I still can't get any communication going.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. All right, Chaz.
Hello. So blessed. All these beautiful informations and understandings are so important because we have to hear different vibrational codes to help us register. And when I heard this question, I was like, ooh, this happens to pertain a lot because I've been selling singing bowls for about 6 years or so. And I also work a lot with voice analysis programs, with seeing what frequencies people's voices put out versus what singing bowls make them seem to be more pleasurable or not. And also to speaking a little bit to sharing what I got as a download from the vibrational codes that I work with to help help you, my friend, with receiving vibrational codes yourself or downloads or talking to guides, whatever which way you want to look at it. And it's all the same thing, just spoken in different tongues. So the first thing is with singing bowls, it is a beautiful phenomenon that certain tones resonate and bring us into calmness, and other ones alert us or bring us an edgy type of feeling, as we say in sound healing. And this has a little bit more deeper to do than just the singing bowl makeup, because of the fact that it's actually embedded into our voices, that we have certain frequencies that strengthen us and weaken us. And they're actually meant to make us learn different aspects of ourselves. And traditional Tibetan sound healing, you want to become the full rainbow, which is you want to understand all of the notes or all of the colors of the rainbow and become the serpent. And that's understanding all the frequencies. And sometimes initially you come into this life with your own frequency code, and some frequencies match that. They're in harmonics code, or they match in harmony with your frequency code, and other ones don't match, which create dissonance. And so it's difficult for your harmony code or your frequency code to take it in. It's like, oh, that's a lot, that doesn't match my harmony code. It's like dissonance. And not saying that's bad or good, but it's for the experience. And if we look at everything in life as an experience and not as good or bad, what is it doing to my frequency code? How is it activating me? Because all activation is a chance to experience the dimension and experience this life. And whether it's good or bad, it's just a way of measuring the experience. And so you get to now know, oh, wow, this particular note or this particular sound it really creates this experience for me. And that can do something for you if you want to partake or engulf in that, whether it's pleasurable or not pleasurable. And I see in singing bowls, they both work the same route. It just depends on your engagement. Your engagement is the first thing. And so you want to look at that as you're looking at the singing bowl, as people said, like you want to be able to play it. So if to you engaging with it is making things more easier and more in flow because it matches your harmony code, then and go that route. If you're kind of one that likes to do a bunch of push-ups and challenge yourself really hard and see if you can do it, then you might want to get the more challenging bowl and see if you can work through that challenge and see what it does as you learn what attitudes and characteristics that frequency holds and what those frequencies and characteristics are challenging your personality and your persona within inside of yourself. Now helping a little bit with connecting with your spirits or connecting with your vibrational code. What helps is doing a consistent vibrational code for 7 weeks in a row. So every single day you want to get up and dedicate at least 7 minutes to doing the same type of vibrational code. That might be an Om, that might be a chant, that might be a mantra, that might be Jonathan Goldman does a very amazing 7-minute chakra tune-up on YouTube. It's like 7 minutes. He goes through all the vowel tones of it. Doing this for 7 weeks and doing it so repetitive that you stop thinking about it will get to this point where you're vibrating your whole body by using the vibroacoustics of your own voice and your own body. And it'll actually get you to stop thinking and allow that block to go down so the information to come in and for them to drop down patterns in your brain, numbers, words, whatever you want to look at, so you understand the transformation that they do love you and they want to communicate with you and show you that you have the capabilities of seeing these higher aspects of using your consciousness, your heart, and your emotions for beautifulness on this planet. As for helping with different types of tools, I don't know where you live, but if you happen to live in the Portland area, I have a full sound healing store with, I have sound tables that you can lay on and feel different types of music and didgeridoos and frequencies come out of it. I have frequency pillows that you can take smaller versions, and I have a full selection of all kinds of 7 metal bowls, manufactured bowls, and crystal bowls, and all different keys, as well as flutes and hand pans and so much more. But the ideal is, I heard someone mention something about it has to be in the right note. I'm going to mention something to you. Notes are based upon a frequency code once again. So it doesn't really matter if you're trying to find an A, because a real A is like anywhere from like a 410 to like a 433. And then throughout history, that changing of what the bass note or the concert tuning of it has changed all over the place, from 440 to 432 to 444. So it's really about, like somebody said earlier, your intuitiveness. How does that note resonate with you? How is that key signature going? And then that key signature is going to tell you something, and it's going to help you move into deeperness, because in real reality, man-made notes aren't real. Harmonic series and how patterns are created are how the universe works, not a man-made number that somebody put together 100 years ago or 200 years ago and said, this is the chakra chart. We know cymatics are guaranteed because they happen every single time, no matter what. And so if we go a little bit deeper on that code, which the ancients were teaching us through mantras and through the different types of murals they were painting, and understanding that these were two-dimensional versions of what was happening through the sounds that they were emanating in their consciousness, we can kind of use that as well. And that helps us also connect to our guides. That was the main way that they used connecting to the guides. So yeah, I know that was kind of a flow, but I hope that resonated with you, and feel free to ask any questions if necessary. Blessings to you.
I guess, Chaz, in terms of people choosing an instrument, like, do they basically, is it good to just be with them physically and to hear them and to feel them, and that's how they choose what's right for them? Or
so I work a lot with, because now with COVID and everything being, it's difficult for everybody to come in. So I work in 2 different ways. I think the best way is to have a personal experience with it. I consider myself a halfway home for instruments. They come to me, I love them, and I find homes that they're going to stay with forever, that someone's going to appreciate their signature value, and I'll show them and teach them how this instrument uses this particular code or this particular color and this frequency scale, and why it's really useful in this dimension. And I can also do that over the phone too. Sometimes we'll set up a high quality microphone and we'll start playing different kinds of bowls, and we can do it that way if they can't be there in person. But I believe in person is the best if you can do it. But being with somebody that you trust as well too is important, because you know, there's two sides to it. You want to feel that you're getting a quality product, and you also want to resonate with that product as well.
And just Chaz, you mentioned a YouTube, and someone asked about the YouTube. I didn't
Yeah.
notice what it was, but
So I just have a natural release. I'm a master recording engineer, and I studied underneath David Gibson, who was the very first sound recording engineer back in the 80s, who did Debbie Premal, Jonathan Goldman, all of them. He is an amazing man. And so I am on all national formats doing this biofrequency geometry music. That's basically fractal music of the different our body. First was done on the Schumann resonance, which is 7.83, which is one of the main frequencies of the earth when it stabilizes and goes out, and has been linked over and over again in science and in metaphysics to show change in the physical body as well as the emotional and psychological side of ourselves. So I created this meditation mix at 7 minutes, and it's based upon more of a world music side than a very stale Western approach to music. It has a lot of different world music like Native American flutes and zitars, but it's still done with binaural beat coding and with the rhythmic codes of the drumming to match exactly to the pulse of the 7.83 of the Schumann resonance.
Okay, great. So if you could grab the link of that YouTube and put it in the chat, I know people would love to experience it.
I will. Thank you so much for giving me a share, and thank you for everybody for listening, and I wish everybody a beautiful evening.
Great. Oh, you're welcome. And just in looking for that, I put in a link for a cymatics video that's on YouTube also, the person that was asking about that. All right, great. Susan.
Let me lower my hand too. Okay. So I want to add on to what others have said and not just repeat, but I would say I love what Chad said about tuning into the experience, not necessarily labeling it as good or bad or better or best, but really like, where are you noticing? I teach yoga as well. And so a lot of times when we're in, certain yoga postures, I'll say, now, where are you noticing the sensation in your body? Is it, because sometimes it can be uncomfortable, but it's kind of like, like when you're getting a massage, it's kind of uncomfortable, but it's the good kind of uncomfortable. So just noticing, that experience, like, is this resonating with me? Is this grating on my nerves? And sometimes if you can add other things, so like maybe you're playing, one of the higher, like say a G note, and it's really kind of grating on your nerve, and you come down to a lower note, it can balance, kind of like that. Like Chaz was just talking a minute ago about the biennial beats and how, or fifths, how you don't necessarily play two notes side by side, one can kind of balance out the other. So just experimenting with that. As far as the instruments, what came up for me, maybe that you might enjoy, is the thumb piano or kalimba, and it's really light. Sometimes I'll throw this in my backpack and, go take it with me on a hike.
I have one.
Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah.
No. And then when you mentioned the strings, I thought too of like a lap harp, or they're also called therapy harps. But these can be really nice too. So there's that. And for guides, a couple came into mind when others were talking. One was Isis. So that might be one that you maybe research a little bit, see if that indeed resonates with you, as well as angels, Gabriel and Michael, and also Durga, the goddess Durga. So hopefully that's helpful, and I'm gonna pass it on to Wyatt.
Thank you.
Thanks, Susan.
So you have great other options for these wonderful instruments that you can go and explore with. I personally, and this is just a recommendation from me, I recommend a drum. So a drum has multi-tones, at least a natural high drum has multi-tones within a single beat. So you can find lower and higher vibrations that equal each other out and create a very amazing harmony that could be healing. A lot of drums tend to be very low as well, the bigger you get. So I would maybe recommend a bigger drum, and that would keep you within this earthy, deep tone. But yeah, if that resonates, you can go ahead do that. But what I'm really interested in, and what I want to talk about most, is actually the spirit guides that you have. So a spirit guide takes the form that you are most comfortable with. This could be bipedal, where it's an extraterrestrial, a god, a goddess, a ancestor, so on and so forth, or it could be quadrupedal or more, where it's a dog or a cat. Usually we don't have those within the spiritual world because they're more like cheetahs and lions, or a dingo or a wolf. And you usually find pictures or have a sort of connection with them since childhood that you find. So maybe connecting to a childhood favorite animal or something, and this might be a great place to start with. I don't like to tell people like, hey, go check this out or anything, because your power animal, power guide, spirit helper is very individual to you. Mine being a snake will not have the same meaning as someone else. So it is going to be very powerful and very individualized for you and what that power animal means to you, or power guide. So maybe doing a journey or whatever you need. But you going ahead and asking has already put out to the universe. It's also just trusting the divine timing that it is going to come to you. The answer will come to you, whether it is in a dream or a journey or anything else. It's just trusting that.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Wyatt. All right, Michelle.
Namaste, Laura.
Namaste.
So I initially did not have my hand up, and as time went by, I just felt like it was important for me to tune into your energy field, so I did. And what I picked up on is that the reason that you felt so guided to come in is because you have this blockage, and it is at the heart chakra. And I just want to encourage you to consider clearing it, like in this moment. Because even when I drew a card for you, it came out that it was time to mend bridges. So whatever it is, you said you kind of know what caused the blockage, and it just feels like now might be the opportunity. So if you're open to it, I'm just going to guide you through a small little exercise.
I'm trying to pin you. For some reason, even though I've got speaker view on, it's not working.
Oh,
And
I can possibly spotlight her.
Okay. Yay! Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So what I'd like for you to do, if you're open to it, is I'd like for you to place your hands on your heart. And as I said, we all have music inside of us, and everybody has their own unique note. And so I'd like for you, you can either do this silently to yourself, because some people are more shy, but whatever note you're feeling is in the heart. I want you to either sing it to yourself or sing it aloud, right at the heart.
Right about there.
That's good. And just keep doing that. And I'm going to just rattle as you do that, because there's something stuck in your chakra, in the heart chakra. And as you do that, that sound is going to help clear it out. And it has to do with that blockage that you spoke of earlier, in terms of when you said you knew you put the wall up.
Well, it saved my life, but it's ready to come down now.
Yeah, it's like it's ready to release, because that when you put up a wall, whatever that is, even if it was to protect yourself, because I'm a hypnotherapist, a lot of people do this, right? They do it because that's what we do. We do it because that's what we believe is going to protect us and keep us safe. And so when we do that, we can also stay in that frequency, even when we don't need to be. And yours has been up and it served you well, but it's time to come down now. Okay, so hand on heart, and just go ahead and tone as I rattle. All right, one more time, nice and loud for me, please. Really sing from the heart. Notice what's there, Laura. Just let it come out. Oya oshama kanya poksha kaya maya homa kagyo baya hoya umanya oya hawi huya nya yuso. So say thank you to the reason that you put the wall up. Say thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, just send blessings to it. It served you well.
Served me well.
Yeah. And you'll know what to do if you ever get in that situation again. But it's not necessary to hold on to it anymore.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Laura, is there anything you want to share about what your experience was? Totally optional.
No, just making me cry when I recorded. It was nice. It felt like I could kind of, release a little more, because it's one of those things. It's like dying. I know exactly what I need to do. You just need to do it, and there's probably, and I also have to accept that there's a lot of it that I don't know what to do, and hence I'm out seeking, advice from you guys. So we'll see if that helps bump me along.
Great. Yeah, Laura, I'll just mention too that in your eyes, I think your first talent is scholar, and scholars can get caught thinking that they need to know and that they need to understand. And so your growth and evolution is all integrated into that too. Looks like Galactic Ashley has something to share also. Thanks, Michelle.
Okay.
This is just real quick, and it's really for everyone also. One, I just want to say thank you, Laura, because it takes a lot of vulnerability to allow yourself to experience a healing or to be witnessed. But there's a power in being witnessed and to allowing all of us to witness you. I find that a lot of us are being called to really understand what it really means to be truly powerful, which also means to like true power comes from being vulnerable too, right? To balance those two. But one of the things that I think is important to remember for anyone that's trying to connect to their guides is that sometimes we resist connecting with them because we have shame that might be conscious or unconscious, and we don't want to be fully seen. And sometimes we associate connecting with our guides with maybe like their parents, or they are our parents, kind of, and that they're going to judge us, right? So we all have shadow sides or shame, or carry the frequency of fear in us. And it can be really beneficial to allow your spirit guides and those like you have a harmonic frequency with to come in and to just witness you, because that's when the unconditional love can come in. And I find that that's what people are really nervous about, is knowing that they are enough to be able to experience and feel these frequencies of love to come through them. And then it opens up our heart, which is necessary for us to expand so that we can also hold and bring in these higher frequencies. So I understand that it can be nerve-wracking sometimes, or scary, but it's worth it. And so I hope that you find the courage to allow yourself to experience them in the way that is natural for you.
You know, part of why I've wondered if, you know, I've not been able to get through is because they might see me as arrogant, because I feel like I'm pretty darn, you know, got it together. I am what I am. I love going to nudist hot springs, you know, I'm like very, hey, this is me, you know, and so if anything, I guess I would have thought on my own that it was for an opposite, you know, reason, if any, that they're like, well, you don't seem to think you need any help, so we're going to just let you fumble along on your own.
No, that's just the mind sort of interfering. Also, a lot of times they are communicating with us, and they have been communicating with us. It's just that you don't necessarily recognize it as communication because you're expecting it to come in a different way. And that's really common. So it's like, here's an example. I knew that I always saw things, right? But because I didn't see them in my physical eyes, I saw that in my inner eye, very clearly in my inner eye. But because I didn't see it, like in the movie The Sixth Sense or something, it was like, oh, that doesn't count. So I wasn't totally ignoring it, but because I was listening to people say, oh, I see. So I literally thought they were seeing with their physical eyes, which is also possible and does happen sometimes. But I mean, those are the kinds of like, when it's important to pay attention to our language around things too, or to just ask to be communicated with, or to ask, to be aware of when you are communicating, because it might just be that you're totally communicating with them. It's just that maybe it's coming through transmissions, so you're not going to hear the words in your mind. And oftentimes, especially for many people, their mind is so clouded with their own thoughts or with voices from the past that it's hard to get in the higher guidance voice in there. So
I've asked, you know, for it to be as clear as, you know, hitting me with a frying pan, because I keep an eye on myself, that because I want to sense or hear or, you know, receive something, that I might, you know, not be sure. It's like, well, did I just imagine that because I really want it, or was it real? So I'm like, can you like hit me a little harder with that, so I know for sure, you know, and then I don't get anything for sure. So I still question myself.
Yeah, well, it's okay. But try, just see what happens if you so if you think you're imagining it, let yourself imagine it and see what happens when you go with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got nothing to lose. Just go with it. Allow the imagination to happen. Believe it, even if there's a part of you that's like, I don't know, just believe it, and then see what happens.
Yeah, I've had a few where I just kind of felt like I should reach out to someone who I didn't know very well and, you know, offer something for him. And they came back later going, that was the most amazing timing, you know, that you did that for me. And so I'm like, oh, I'm glad I listened on that one, you know. I'm never sure. Thank you.
Great. Thanks so much, Galactic Ashley. And thanks so much, Laura, for your question and for getting us started. It's great. All right, let's see. So we've got 3 other people in the line right now. We've got Diane, Leanne, and Diana. So Diane, are you ready? I know you arrived. Did you want to jump in? Where's Diane? And that's Dayan. I saw you come in earlier. I don't see you now though, so maybe you're not here at the moment. All right, let's go on to Leanne. Leanne, are you ready?
I'm here.
All right, great.
I don't know about ready though. So I came across this event just about 2 hours ago. I was folding laundry in my closet and something made me get on Facebook. It's weird. And this popped up and I'm like, oh, let me just join in, see what I can learn, or, you know, I'm always learning. I just kind of am seeking advice or anything, guidance. When you all were first starting out on your journeys, when you connected with spirit that first time and you're like, what do I do? What direction do I go? I'm kind of stuck. The last year has been very interesting. It started out for me with so many different medical ailments, from my feet not being able to stand, to my heart rate in the 160s, the 190s, to pressure in my face where I was seeing an eye doctor. I've seen cardiology, pulmonary, neurology, everyone. And, you know, they're all like, you're fine, you're great. And then I start kind of turning to alternative medicine. People just start falling on my path. So I'm like, oh, I need to go into that store. I don't know why. And now I left with, you know, different stones and more knowledge. And then that's kind of how the last year has gone. And I actually started saving people in my phone called my tribe, because I just felt like I needed to. But I'm really stuck. I don't, you know, I just kind of want advice, and anything you think or comes to you. I was called here tonight and here I am. I'm a good listener when my mind's pretty quiet, and you know, I find someone or something. So just kind of open to any input.
Yeah, thanks so much for following your intuition and following, right, your journey through listening to your body and doctors, and then all the alternative healers, and all to like looking at Facebook tonight and then choosing to ask a question. It's great. All right, I imagine we'll have some practitioners with something to share here. So practitioners, raise your hand and let me know. And maybe while they're sharing, I'll mention, may I just say about your eyes. So one of the talents I see in your eyes is called priest or priestess. And I think you have this as your second talent. I describe people as having 3. So priest or priestess sees not only what's here, they see what's possible, and they want to inspire and motivate people to stretch and reach for what's possible. So use emotions to pull people forward. So you probably feel emotions deeply. And having it second means that you tend to turn it inwards. You want to be really good on your impact in the world. And so you do that by checking to see how you need to grow, how you need to see something you haven't seen about yourself, focusing on yourself. And so in general, like part of your journey, part of your lessons are to love and honor yourself and see the perfection of how you are now as you do for everyone. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, great. All right, Wyatt's got something. Wyatt, let's get you pinned and in here.
Can I say something else? When
yeah,
people connect with me, like you were just speaking to me, I get this like burning inside fire, like when I connect with people who are gifted, and it's so crazy. I'm like, it's weird. But anyway, I just wanted to share that. But yeah, that hit home.
You say that you feel a resonance of, right, the energy of like life energy coming through, the energy of the universe coming through, right? Mm-hmm. You're sensitive and you can detect that, right? Yeah, it's great. All right, Wyatt.
Hi, Leanne. Something really that was coming through for me. So I have been on my path since a very young age, coming across crystals at 8, and then very quickly after following into Atlantis and researching all of that. I think crystals are a great place to start, first of all. And I know Galactic actually will say the same. But what is really like something very important when you are on your path is to follow your path. Don't follow other people's paths. Reading these books are great. Finding more people and incorporating what you want into your own practice and who you are is great. I have said this a few times before in other fairs and on my talks. Mahatma Gandhi, I want to say, said that if there are 7 billion people on the world, there needs to be 7 billion religions or spiritual practices. So it is not really shamanism. I say put the label shamanism, but really it's Wyattism. You need to find Leannism. So by following your own path, incorporating what you want, drawing from things, maybe you'll take a few classes in shamanism, learn extraction, learn soul retrieval, power retrieval, whatever, but then you're going to go over to Reiki and like that a little bit more. How are you going to fuse those two into your own practice? Same thing with sound and music. What this panel is about, not shamanism. Finding the instruments that really resonate with you, that can shift your consciousness to where you are able to really accept the flow of the universe, to really follow your intuition, and then trusting that what you see and what you find that comes to you, really trusting that that is true, or that is a message or a metaphor from your guides. This is really going to help you forward. Also, I can't say enough the importance of connecting with your guides, whether or not you know them, because they're there to help you on your path, no matter who they are, what form they take. They're just there. So.
It's interesting that you mentioned trusting, because that's something I'm working on. Like, it happens, and then I'm like, is that happening? But then it happens, and I'm like, is that happening? And then I was actually, music is like, it's always been a release for me from anything. It's always been healing, but I never understood why. Now I do. And so I was actually listening to music while I was doing laundry in my closet, and paused it and just picked up my phone and found this. So it's definitely, everything's interlinked for sure. But thank you for thank you for the permission to follow my own path. That really is really great. It's like permission. So thank you.
You're very welcome. Good luck on your path.
Great. Let's see. We've got Michelle and Daniel in line. Let me get Michelle up here, and then I'll get Daniel in here and ready too. All right. Go ahead, Michelle.
Namaste, Leanne. How are you?
Namaste. Oh, I'm good.
Good. I have a quick question for you. So when you first asked your question, you were talking about kind of following your path, and when you were telling your story, you were talking about, I was in the middle of something and then I just knew to pick up my phone, or I've done that before, just to go into a certain store or to befriend someone. So how are you receiving your information? Do you hear? Do you see? Is it gut knowing? How are you receiving it?
It's like all of a sudden I'm having a conversation in my mind.
Okay.
Like to myself.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like an inner thought, inner dialogue. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay. And so that's clairaudience. And where we get confused, clairaudience can be very confusing because it does sound like a thought that we might be having. And so when higher self connection wants to make a connection with us, kind of like what Galactic Ashley was saying, it was like when I was born primarily clairaudient. And so when I first had voices in my head, and I thought I was going insane. I mean, I actually got checked out because I wondered if I was schizophrenic or if I had multiple personalities, because it was really bad. And so why I'm asking this question is because we can doubt ourselves when we have a higher self connection. So I'd like for you to become more aware of how that sound vibrates through your entire instrument, your entire body. Because when we have just a thought in our head, like, oh, I should probably do the dishes, or I should probably, record that program or whatever, it generally stays just up in this particular segment of our being. But when we have a higher self, inspirational, intuitive message, it rings our entire bell, so to speak. It goes through our entire body. It still sounds from the same place, but it comes from a deeper, lower place within the body. And so I felt like I needed to jump on and share that. And then also you were talking to Wyatt about how you received this fire. And I swear to you, like 30 seconds prior to that, I picked this card for you.
So
That's awesome.
this is about spiritual leadership. It's about following your path. It's about trusting. And that's what I'm talking about, is when that fire burns deep within you and you feel it. I also am picking up on that you're kinesthetic. So you have a lot of clairsentient abilities, and just notice when you are picking up on that strong, I need to do this, I'm feeling like I need to be there. Really tune in, not to just what you're hearing, but pay attention to what's going on in your body. You already mentioned this feeling of fire. Notice specifically what that feels like, because our body is a barometer, and it really can help us with our spiritual yes and our spiritual no. And so just pay attention and tune into that.
It's I think it's super hard, because what I've learned is what I feel is magnified. So if someone has a massive migraine, I feel like they're going to have brain surgery. Recently, I had just left breast pain, but I'm so used to over the last year, just all these ailments, and the hardest part is trying to figure out what's going on. And then for 4 or 5 days,
it's like a sympathy pain, you know, and that's being an empath. And empaths can pick up on so many different things all at the same time, and there's different levels of being an empath. And there's a lot of people that will give you lots of different tips as far as protecting yourself and calling in, you know, for guidance and help. It honestly comes down to your free will. And there's a lot of people who prefer to feel other people's pain, because they feel like I can relate them to them. I can relate. So I would suggest that if that's you, you want to be able to relate to someone and you want to actually be in their energy field in that way, that you imagine that you're like a doctor who does surgery and you're putting on one of those nitrile pair of gloves. Because if you're going to go in there and you're going to feel around, you also want to make sure that you can then take those gloves off and not have to have it stay with you.
That's what I'm really would love to learn, because so I, got checked out again, because, I always make sure it's not a health thing. And then so it went on for about 4 or 5 days. It was like severe left breast pain. And my mom calls me and she's like, so I didn't want to tell you this, but I had a mammogram and they found a mass. And I said, was it in your left breast? And she said, yes. I said, why didn't you call me? Because now I've been thinking I have all this going on, and she's like,
So
I didn't want to worry you.
Here's the tip for you, okay? And anybody else listening. If this happens to you, what I want you to do is I want you to pause, and I want you to go within, and I want you to ask yourself, is this mine to own? Is this mine to own? And if it's not yours, it's going to disappear. And it will disappear maybe for just a few seconds, but notice it's going to be gone for a moment, and then you'll know. And then you can start asking your higher self. And as soon as you learn your unique spiritual yes and your unique spiritual no, it can be a lot quicker. It's like a unique form of muscle testing. But as soon as you learn that and understand how your body and your higher self is speaking to you, what's really cool about it is that then you can go even further and you can say, okay, is it my mom? Is it my sister? Is it my best friend? So it's kind of fun. Enjoy, have fun. This is really a cool time for you. So I'm excited for you.
That's great. I really appreciate all these tips, because I can't really find the tips. So yeah, because it disappeared right after it got validated who it was. And I was like, if I can figure it out, how to ebb and flow with it, how to respond, what's my unique spiritual yes or no, then I don't think I'd be so overwhelmed. Yeah.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
I say we are the community where you find the answers. That's what we do for people with these events. It's great. Thanks, Michelle. All right, next we've got Daniel, then Rachel, then Marcia.
Hi, Leanne.
Hello.
I'm following Michelle, who really zeroed in on a lot of what I would have spoken to, so I can actually be pretty brief. First, I'll observe that I feel like you are masterful at navigating life as far as the messages that life is giving to you. You kind of have this sense of choreography with it. It's my experience that the theater we're in, that's called daily life, is actually creating moments for you to learn more about yourself. And what you were describing just seemed like a high level of interaction with that educational process that life is creating for you, and that you're so fluid with shifting and listening and wondering about it. And that you, from your description, I didn't get a sense that you deal with stuckness around that, that you seem quite willing to just, whoop, oh, you know, hey. And I really respect that. I honor that. So that's to your benefit for sure. You may already be good at this, but I feel like I want to underscore it if you feel like you could enhance, is cultivating the asking for what you would like life to show you. Because I heard something early on about stuckness, but it went past in a hurry. And to me, if you could cultivate that into something that becomes more of a direct question of the universe that you can use your navigational skills to listen for. I mean, it may be there, it just didn't make it out into words, but
I ask a lot, what's my purpose? Like, I know I'm supposed to serve others, but where, how, when, like, just let me know, you know.
Mm-hmm. As you say that, I might offer to you that that answer may be coming as an aggregate of a series of meaningful moments that string together into a pattern later, that you then go, oh, this is the formulation of the answer. If somebody had given me this formula, you know, the distillation of it in a phrase or a word or a concept, it wouldn't have had the gripping power on me as me saying, oh, all of these meaningful moments, suddenly I see what their common thread is. And it becomes an achievement on your part that tends to land deeper in your being, and therefore is a more powerful inner guidance for you than if somebody said, well, here he is, boop. You know, it's kind of easy for that to go away. If it isn't earned is kind of a tricky word, but I want to say that you claim the truth if you can say, oh, you know, I've been gathering all these moments. I remember so many moments. Here's a gestalt that makes sense to me. That can be the soul talking directly to you. I can't put it this way, but I will. In a certain way, I'm delighted to hear of the numerous physical related moments that you've had, and that you noted that those were piling up, and you noted to pay attention to them. I didn't get a sense that you were just shoving them under and trying to get past them, but you were actually giving them some due and pursuing the path in life to explore answers. It's been my own experience that when we're oriented towards learning, that we tend to get a lot of things, physical ailment types of things that, how do I want to say this, that aren't intended to be the story for ourselves. They're intended to be a learning moment. And if we're asking, you know, what can I learn from this? How can I learn from this? Then that they might be there to pull the question from you so that you then do an exploration. Like, why is this here? And oh, where's your pain? Yeah, left. So it's, I feel like you've had enough of a pattern of physical registrations that you don't have the unconscious response of freezing up and saying, oh, this is me. But it's more like this is showing up, what's the deeper reality? So I really want to underscore your skill in that too. And the more those pop up and they turn out to be messages for exploration and then they go away, the more that those show up in your life, the more that becomes the norm, that you don't get thrown by the seeming intensity of it, that you can still say, okay, life, let's assume this is for learning and not for a permanent, because that's been the track record recently. And I think that's what I have to say right now. Did
Thank
that
you so
make some
much.
sense?
Oh yeah, I don't run to the ER at the first ailment anymore because they're pretty intense, you know. So thank you.
I just want to really like ring the bell for the agility that you flow through life. That you in many ways you make it easy for spirit to talk to you.
I'm trying.
By doing that. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Daniel. All right, we've got Rachel and then Marcia.
Hi, Leanne. A lot of things have been said, but I just have a few things to add. Whilst you were talking, my whole body just started to shiver, and I'm feeling that heat as well. That's something that I've felt for a very long time, so I can relate to that. And I found from my experience that heat usually means that something big and major is about to happen in life. Something usually of a very positive and really beautiful nature is about to happen. I also can relate with the ailments. I've been through stages of life where I've just started crying for weeks on end for no reason, and then I found out that a friend's been going through something really painful, and I've taken on all of their emotions. And what worked for me is what Michelle actually said about calling it in and really finding out if it is mine, asking it, working with the energy, working with the pain, even doing like a talking session to the pain and having a bit of a dialogue with it, and seeing how it can be reversed or how it can be shifted out the body, and actually working with it and seeing it as a pulsating light and moving it through with white light, taking it out of the body, out of the field, away from the body, taking it out into the universe, saying thank you, and then bringing in new healing energy and asking for that from your guides, asking for that from Mother Earth, and just really bringing that into your body and bringing change. I find that works really well for myself, because then I know that what I'm bringing in isn't from another person, and I can, I guess, disconnect from that. So that's what's come through, as well as what everyone said. I'm actually on fire right now. It's really hot. So I hope you're feeling all right, and I hope that helps.
Very helpful. Thank you so much. I was actually super drawn to you when I got on here, and I was trying to figure out why. Like just drawn, like it's just this pull sometimes to somebody. So thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
All right, go ahead, Marcia.
Hi. So whenever you feel that pull, be sure and listen to it. For sure. I agree with what everybody said, but I just wanted to share something with you, and that is that no matter how long we're in this business, we still have things surprise us, I think. And even when we go through major shifts and we get new gifts and talents, they can come in and surprise different ones of us. So I was working as a bartender just a few years ago, already been in this business for years, and suddenly all kinds of physical stuff was showing up, and I couldn't figure out why. I couldn't do my job. I couldn't sleep at night. I had so much pain coming up my legs, only to my knees, and I finally, the right person came in. I gave her message. It was about her grandmother that had lived in Cook City, Montana, and given her mother up for adoption. And she had frozen to death going out in a storm to look for maybe it was grandmother and great grandmother. But anyway, once I passed on the message, then yes, everything went away. So just be open to this, just like you're doing. And I think you're doing a rocking job. And careful to go into the emergency room all the time, because sometimes they have no idea.
Yeah, they offered me a different kind of prescription.
I bet.
Alternative medicine has been amazing. I'm a nurse, and so I've grown up in the Western medicine world. I live in the North, but I was raised in the South. And so it's really opened my mind up to like herbs and energy and things that I never thought of. Like I kind of looked at it differently through my lens before all of this. And now I'm like, oh no, I'm going there first.
Yeah,
You know,
very cool. You know, there is an herb that helps you open things up too, and that's mugwort. So I suggest you make yourself a little sachet for under your pillow.
I've heard of that. I'll write it down.
Yeah. Use
you
that.
know, when this first started, it was really weird. With certain people, I'd get like thoughts or feelings and I'd share them. And it was so clear as day. It was so on target. And I think the best part for me was like them helping them grieve or heal. Like that was just felt so great, like to move through those moments with them.
Yes.
But then like I feel like I was doing too much of that and not enough work of what I'm supposed to be doing, and so that ability kind of like went away. And it was really weird because it was so blissful and it was so great and it was like such a high, and then it was like and I was like, what do I do now? Like maybe I made it all up. So
no,
it's been a journey.
I don't think you made anything up. But yeah, those feelings come and go, but don't think it's gone for good. It'll come back. But the heart, the fire in your heart thing, my friends and I have a word for that, and that's a heartgasm. So I love that. And yeah, those are pretty blissful as well. So that's always good to hang on to. But
I really understand now why I've always had a hard time in relationships, because like even friendship relationships, because like the pain or the deceit or whatever has always been like 10 times, or you know, so trust is really something I'm working on because now I'm understanding everything. So thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you, Marcia. All right, Galactic Ashley is also online now too.
I just have, so first, this is specifically for you, Leanne, is that you are the absolute perfect person to have this type of empathy, the physical empathy, especially because you have this experience as a nurse. So this completely aligns. So not only will you be able to identify through your own body and empathically feel how people are feeling and what's going on, but you'll also have like a medical background to be able to assist them and to it's just like I feel like you're like, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? And it's like, it's right here. You know, I mean, I'm not telling you that you're going to be an intuitive or a medical intuitive, but that might be part of it, right? Because this is Lorelei, but this is like part of it, right? So we have these gifts and they tend to come up really powerfully when we're ready to do something with it, because you were meant to be a nurse first. And it's not that you need to stop being a nurse, but you'll find a way where these two things will come together, and you'll be so balanced in bringing these things that people will trust you, right? So people are going to come to you and they're going to trust you because you are able to balance the medical world with the spiritual world and basically bring back the science and the metaphysics together how they were meant to be, as they were never meant to be separate. But it sounds like, and it definitely feels like, you really need to find a place within you where you can re-engage with having faith in yourself and with having trust in yourself, and to make that like a commitment to yourself, because you are worthy, you are intelligent, and you are meant to be trusted, right? But you have to get through that. I'm feeling like you have to get through that first before you can start attracting other people to come and to trust you. They're already going to trust you, but if you don't trust yourself, or you don't trust that they really trust you, it's going to create some weirdness, right? So for those of you that are empaths, because people always ask me this question, I'm going to say it's so important for you to know what I call your home frequency, or what Chaz was referring to earlier as your unique sound signature, or your signature, like how who and how you are, and to feel that, right? So in a lot of the experiences that I do, the first thing that we do is we go to New Earth. You can go wherever you want to go, but in your mind, and just ask for your frequency to come in, to know exactly what that feels like with nothing else in it, and then to just know that so intimately. And because I work with light language, this can be anything that resonates, but basically each time we sit to bring light language through us, whether we are bringing through our voices in songs, speaking it, signing it, dancing it, drawing it, or writing it, the moment that we are bringing it through us, our current vibration is interacting with a higher pure vibration. So we begin a process of entrainment where we are creating a space where we are safely calibrating ourselves to these higher vibratory states. Now, the purpose of being in a higher vibratory space is not to like, oh, be cool, or because it like feels really good. But what happens is we start releasing resentment, fear, and old belief systems. So if you have the courage to look and you are willing to heal these non-beneficial energies and these discordant frequencies, you start supporting your physical body to maintain a healthier resonance, and your frequency becomes strong. So what happens is you are able to maintain your frequency and operate in a higher vibrating frequency, because what happens is when we're existing in the world is that we're constantly frequency matching, right? And so this is important for empaths, but to have this awareness, right? So if there's a sad person and a happy person, let's say you're a happy person and a sad person comes in, what's going to happen is either they're going to split and they're going to go away from each other. That's one option. Or the happy person becomes sad because they need to vibrate together, or the sad person becomes happy. Now, it's not always the empath's responsibility to fix it, but if you have such a strong harmonic and you know who and what you are, then what happens is you are able to feel that there is a, we'll just say discordant or a different vibratory energy that's with you. Identify it, and then you're so strong in who and how you're vibrating, you can acknowledge it, you can work with it without having it overwhelm you. And so it is a process, right? And we're all constantly always going through this. And so what I love that Marcia said is like, we don't all have it, like we don't all have it down. Like we have it down and we have a process, but we are meant to continually expand. I mean, we have to choose to do this, right? But everybody here has chosen this, or they wouldn't be here, right? So we're choosing to expand in our consciousness, to ascend, or to go through our own personal ascension process. So we're always going to continually expand, and things will always feel different, and we'll always have surprising moments. And this is just part of doing that. And so I am excited for you, but for anybody that struggles with the gift of empathy, because it is a gift that is so necessary right now, but the times are extremely challenging, right? So the time for empaths right now is to open and to flourish and to strengthen their own vibration, because empathy it's not going away, but it really needs to come up now more than anything, because it's getting shut down. And that's the idea, is like we can make things chaotic and uncomfortable, and then maybe people will shut down. We don't want to shut down right now. We really want to anchor in who and what we are into our physical structure, which then anchors it into the earth. So I feel like it's really important, like divine timing and everything with what's going on with you specifically.
That makes like sense. You made like this vibration thing, like a scientific thing for me, like or black and white. I don't know how to explain. There's no words, but thank you.
Yeah.
And that was really, I like that feedback on the medical intuitive part, because so far it's worked really well on animals. I've saved a couple of, animals, and it's been like out of nowhere, like a cat with diabetes. The owner didn't even notice. So anyway, thank you. That it's all feeling great. So
Great, that's great. And I mentioned in the chat earlier, said, oh, you're a medical intuitive, but really you could be intuitive in all kinds of ways, and just part of the ways that you notice is in your body. And so I love all the things that others have shared, and like when you feel comfortable, when you feel ready, I'd recommend doing this with someone that you know, but not someone you feel so close to, where you feel like attached to whatever you might pick up. So have their permission and ask them, you know, if you can sense maybe what's happening for them and see what you notice. And then it's someone that you have this permission and you can test it out and ask them questions and start to tune into what you pick up and what it might mean. Right. And I want to encourage you that it's not like a figuring out and having to like think hard and figure out. It's really just like sense and notice. And I love what Galactic Ashley was saying about really getting to know you so that you can notice any differences. And then just whatever shows up, boom, like just ask about that. And yeah, it's totally just experimenting and playing with this is how I think so many of us open. And that's part of why like these panels are a great chance to practice.
Thank you. I think it's a lot of validation about mastering me first.
Great. I also want to encourage you, part of what I shared in the beginning about being priestess second, there can be a tendency to be perfectionist. So I want to encourage you like not to go there, and you don't have to study with anyone. You don't have to learn it from anyone else. It's really whatever is through you and trusting you and that you are the one that, right, you're the genius of being you. Yeah. Yeah. I see you.
Nailed it. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. So thanks so much for your question. Thanks so much for being willing.
Thanks everyone. I really appreciate it.
Susan has something she wants to share too. There's more.
Just one really quick thing, because I know we've got others lined up.
But just one more person in line now. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Okay. I just, one thing that's, my journey resonates with yours in so many ways, because I never thought in a million years I'd be doing this kind of thing. I started out as an occupational therapist, and then I got into yoga because that could help my patients. And then it got me to Reiki, and then I got to meet sound healing. And it's kind of like a little bud, you know, it's like you start out this little bud and then little things just open and open and open. And then it blooms into this beautiful that you just never even saw coming. So just allow, you know, you don't have to have the answers. You don't always have to know the next step. You just have to be able or be willing to take a step. Like if you see an opportunity or you have that feeling, you know, sign up for that class or reach out to that person and just be willing to take that step. And one thing that's really helped me, because I can, you know, I'm analysis paralysis and, you know, did I just make that up or was that just coincidental? And sometimes like, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what is next. And that's okay. I don't have to. I just have to be willing to see, you know, to be willing to not know and trust that I'll know what I need to know. But one thing that's really helped me is just to, you know, like come back to myself, put my hands on my heart, just take a few deep breaths. And, you know, either in the morning or sometimes throughout the day, if my, you know, mind starts going all, I'll just come back to myself and just, you know, just take a few deep breaths just to, you know, calm and center and just ask, like, what do I need to know? What do I need to remember to remember? What would help me to show up as my best self? How can I serve? You know, just asking, you know, whatever question might, you know, and the questions will come, you know, but a lot of times I'll just start out with, what do I need to know? What's going to help me? And just be willing to be quiet. Silence is a sound, you know, be willing to get quiet and to go back to your heart and just say, what do I need to know? What do I need to remember to remember? And then I'll typically end with, I'm open to receive. And what do I need to receive right now? Sometimes it's courage to take that step. Sometimes it's calm to, you know, settle down. So I hope that was really helpful. And thank you so much for allowing us to be part of your journey. And it is just that, it is a journey, and it'll go like this, and that's okay. Roller coasters are fun, right?
I'm taking all my notes and just gonna blend it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great. And Leanne, just on the way out, I'll mention too, we all have so many journeys. I studied molecular biology at Berkeley and Caltech. I had no idea I would be doing this, right? And I now run these fairs, so we just never know, right? All right, and practitioners, we do have 2 questions now, so hopefully some of us can stay a little bit later, and I'll refund the next person if we don't have time. Let's see, so we've got Diana, and then I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, Nikita is next too. So Diana, go ahead and jump in, Diana.
Hi all, glad to meet you. I'm excited I finally made it to one of these events. Yeah. I long for a vibrant, healthy, and active life. In 2020, my husband and I decided to divorce. I felt this great relief and a burst of energy, and so many things have shown up. I feel much more committed to radical authenticity. That became a theme last year. I am more open to trusting the universe and letting it guide me and nurture me. And I have this sense that this practice that I discovered back in 2004 called spiritual playfulness, where I treat each new interaction with curiosity and confidence. Like, how do I play with you? And like a dance. And all of this is true. And I don't leave my house. I don't go for a walk. I have redwood trees right outside my home that I have touched once since September. They're literally 50 feet maybe from my front door. And I have spent a long time trying to figure out why I can't embrace healthy, why I choose. I get the message. I have all the tools that I need. I have done drum journeys and rattle work and chanting and meditation, and I'm a somatic coach and I'm a strengths coach, and I have all the tools I need, and I don't choose to use them. I will listen for an answer sometimes, and it's easy for me to access spirit. All I have to do is be in nature. All I have to do is stop and listen. All I have to do is some authentic movement, and it's there. And there's something about me that pushes it away. That when I get a message saying, just go be with the trees, or tonight, rattle work sounds just right. Go do the rattle work on, getting rid of a block. And I don't choose it. I don't take the action for it. And I don't even want to understand why anymore. I just want a shift.
Thanks so much for your question. I want to make sure I get this last part of you don't want to know why now, you just want to shift.
I mean, if I find out why, that's great, but why seems to be sometimes my problem. I am really fast to understand things, and people say, understand and you're halfway there, and it's not true for me. The action part is the hardest for me. I cling to some kind of old habits or conditioned tendencies of numbing through television or food, or getting and playing games on my phone. The whole idea of, this is the analogy that I keep using, is I'm laying by the pool, I'm in the sun, it's hot, it feels good. I put off getting in the water to cool down. And then I get in the water and it's heaven. It cools me down. I love the sensation of floating. Water is my element. I feel powerful. I feel like a goddess. I have visceral experiences to hold on to of doing any one of these things that I so much enjoy. And yet I don't choose to leave that lounge chair.
So I know COVID, no one's in line yet, so I'm going to share a little bit. I know it's COVID. So,
and this predates COVID by decades, by the way.
Yeah, I get all this. Do you have any friends that you're close to? You just got divorced. It's really important to me that the relationship just ended.
Yeah.
Have you had any friends that are nearby in a safe way come over?
Yeah.
Do you walk outside with them? Would you walk outside with them?
I have twice. This is the only time I've walked is with them.
You seem like connection and personal connection with other people is really important to you, and you need to feel like you're of service to other people. And it may be that being of service to other people is the way that you're of service to yourself, and that's the pathway to find being of service to you.
That's true of my coaching for sure.
So you have to actively ask people to come over, though. So you have to ask for something. So there has to be, you now from talking about it, right? It's also going to be of service to you. So you have to be willing to be of service to you. And if, so am I willing?
Mm-hmm.
What's it like just when you say, am I willing to be of service to me? When you ask that?
Am I willing to be of service to me? Well, what I heard was, oh God, yes. Okay. And I've thought I'm going to create a somatic group. And because when I'm facilitating for other people, I'm practicing. Mm-hmm. And it is a service to me. And I don't create the group.
Well, you haven't so far. I encourage you to say this in past tense.
Mm-hmm. I have not yet
followed through. I didn't. So far, I have not.
Mm-hmm. So far.
Yeah, so far. All right, Michelle's in line. Let's get Michelle up here with you. I gotta pin you both. Yeah, you're welcome. Now let me get you up in here too. Okay. All right, go ahead, Michelle.
Namaste, Diana.
Namaste.
So the very first thing that before you even talked that I picked up on was that it's like, oh, do I have permission to be candor? Like totally candor?
Me, yes, for
Okay.
me.
Okay. So there's grieving going on. And this grieving and the sadness that's filling your whole auric field, it feels like there's two parts of you that are conflicting right now. And so you have this adult self who's very intellectual, who's totally knows all this stuff, who knows what she should be doing. And then you have this inner child who's very wounded, who actually is like, you know what? And it comes with some inner dialogue. And I don't know if that inner dialogue was repeated then with the ex-husband, which is why you're like, good riddance. You know, I feel so much lighter. But there was something that went on, I can pick up in your childhood that's causing two parts to conflict. So, you know, you might want to consider doing parts therapy and actually allowing those different parts to have a conversation. There's all different ways to do this. You can do it yourself, you can get a practitioner, but it does feel like there's something that has to do with mom, and it feels like mom's passed on. And in fact, I actually heard the words, she can't see her nose past her face came out in clairaudience. That's what I heard. So there's something in terms of that coping mechanism. You talked about numbing yourself through TV or playing games or food or whatever, not really going out. That is a protective mechanism that we learn very young. We learn to get our needs met because it makes us feel better in a certain way because we can't express ourselves. And so as an adult, I'm not talking to you at all because that, you know, it's like, you don't need to really hear this. You are absolutely right. You've done the work. You've beefed up your resume. You know what you're talking about. But the inner child is what's causing the self-sabotage.
I'm writing this down.
Yeah, the inner child is causing self-sabotage. So I highly recommend that you get a practitioner who understands parts therapy. And really, it's something that I can offer. I know a lot of practitioners here can do it as well. So that would be my recommendation for you because it's deep. And I know that the adult self in you is like, I'm done with it. I don't want this anymore. I'm ready to move on, but it's going to continue to hold you back until you learn from it what it needs. And once you give it what it needs, it will be ready to integrate and then you can move forward.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Makes a lot of sense.
Thanks, Michelle. All right, we've got Sandra in line and then Wyatt.
Yeah, I want to echo what Michelle just said. That's a lot of what I picked up on also, is working with somebody. And years and years and years ago, back in the 70s again, a workshop that I did called Wings talked about knowledge and understanding is the booby prize. It's the first step. You've got to understand and take it, but it's the booby prize. Without action, it's irrelevant. It's the white elephant. It doesn't have any work. You can know all kinds of things, but if you don't take action on it, it's useless. It's pointless. So taking action is the first step. And what I keep hearing is, because you keep saying you know to take action and you're not taking action, decide on the smallest step that you can take and promise yourself, make that commitment to yourself, because every time you want to do something, decide you're going to do something and you don't, you lose trust in yourself. And so find one little small step that you can do and you will do. Promise yourself that you're going to do it and take that step and then take another step. And so that each step kind of builds on it. And as Michelle said, I hear that you need to work with somebody to get over these blocks. I picked up that you've got 6 past lifetimes that are causing part of this problem, which is still programming and belief systems that you're holding that are limiting you, that you need to get rid of, as well as what Michelle talked about in this lifetime that is also exacerbating that and creating this little womb for you where it's comfortable but uncomfortable to not take action, but yet it's comfortable. It's like, you know, the devil that you know is easier than what you don't know. So take one step to work with somebody who can assist you. And maybe it's just going to a store and looking at some instruments. And the other thing that she said was, or maybe it wasn't Michelle, but somebody else said, silence is also important. We live in a world where there's a lot of white noise, where there's a lot of music. And in order to get to that place of healing, we have to find that place of silence. That's why meditation is so important, even if you only meditate for 5 minutes a day. Just promise yourself you're going to meditate for 5 minutes with the intention I'm just going to be quiet, still my monkey brain, and be open to any information, any insights, any guidance of where I should go. The more you can be silent, and when you're working with a sound healer also, and that vibration starts to move within you, the monkey brain quiets down. That's why sound healing works so well. It's because the monkey brain quiets down, which is telling you, oh, go over here. It's, you know, be safe over here. And then you can just align with that vibration. We're all vibration. That's all we are. And I think it was Daniel who said at the beginning that whether it's auditory vibration or silent vibration, it's still vibration, which is what music is, which is what sound is. So you have to be in touch with that silent vibration as much as you are with the outer vibration. And take action from that place. Finding something that allows you to do that. I hear and I heard it in what you were saying too. You're extremely gifted human being. You're really talented, you're really intelligent, and you're really gifted. And you know that, I hope, because it's true. And if you don't, then you need to step into that more. And if you only know it intellectually, you have to know it intellectually in your heart and in your gut. Not just because a lot of times we can say, oh, I know I can do that, and it's all intellectual. Change only happens when it's all the way through, when it's integrated all the way through in our body, mind, and soul, in your gut, your heart, and your mind. So go for it. Take one little tiny step. And even if you can do it just tomorrow, take one little tiny step, whatever it is. If it's a 5-minute step, just take one step into action for yourself.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandra.
Thanks, Sandra. I totally support that. And it can be an itty bitty, teeny tiny step, such as even remembering about this sometime during the next day or something like that. I want to mention too that Elote, my dog, came into my life about 5 weeks ago, and I get tons of oxytocin from him. And then he also, of course, insists that I take breaks and go outside. So he's probably been away. I've done this. So you might always foster an animal for a bit or something like that too.
Getting a dog is on my list.
Yeah, great. And again, that might be a big step. So you might dog sit someone's dog for a few days. You know, small steps, great ways to move forward. All right, Wyatt.
Hi, Diana.
Hi.
First of all, I just want to say I love everything that Sandra, Laureli, and Michelle have put forth so far. Oh, hey, there's my face. So I would like to do a few things. First of all, Sandra talking about silence. I have written about the power of silence. A lot of people, especially in our Western culture, do not like silence because it forces us to face what we keep trying to create noise to distract ourselves for.
Mhm.
There is such a power within the silence, because the silence is a vibrational void, if you will. It is where we can find our true frequency, where we can find our true vibration of just us, where we can let go of our body and let our soul sing. To do that, it is a little bit more difficult to let go of said body because the ego is scared of death, as you probably know about this. This egoic death, this stripping of the body, this dismemberment is probably something I highly recommend.
Dismemberment, I recommend. It was just amusing.
Yeah, I love dismemberment. It's probably a weird thing to say, but as a shaman, I actually have had my spirits perform dismemberments on me every week for the past 2 years. And it is something to reconnect to one's soul, where you strip away your entire body and just remember your soul. You have emotions, you're not your emotions. You have your thoughts, you're not your thoughts. You have a body, you're not your body. So it's remembering that you are your soul. And that's what a dismemberment is about. The other thing is I pulled a card. So I work very intimately with the wind, and the wind is what creates these beautiful sounds and is a natural music. The wind that I pulled for you, and you're not really going to be able to see it because you have my camera, but yeah, no, not really. But it says Dagoda, who is a Polish wind god. And he is the wind god of compassion and finding freedom in forgiveness, which what Michelle was talking about, facing the dualities within yourself, finding the forgiveness and forgiving yourself, really. And getting a feeling really that everything that you're not doing, you are beating yourself up about. And it is not time to do that. You do not beat yourself up. It is not necessary. It is just necessary to take the first step. So when you ask about a shift, I like to say be careful what you wish for, because I would like to perform a wind whistle for you, if that is okay.
Fine with me.
Okay, so I'm going to blow in Dagoda, the Polish wind, in the west. This is for endings, to let everything pass away that you have beaten yourself up about, to allow yourself to forgive and to move on into the north, this northern wind of spirit, this community, allowing yourself to really feel the community that you are going to create, that you have already found. So with a wind breath, which is what I'm going to instruct you to do, when I blow the wind whistle, I want you to breathe in. And to get to this point, we need to reach a point of emptiness, a point of silence, if you will. And that includes us breathing all air out of our lungs down to the very depths. All the hardened air that we have not released since probably our birth, it is time to let it go. So I'm going to instruct you on how to do that. And then once I say, okay, breathe in, I want you to breathe in as much as you can. I will probably continue going a little bit longer because this wind whistle goes a long time. So do as much as you can and release when you're ready. So let's take and anyone, you are more than welcome to do this. So sit up straight, relax the shoulders, engage the muscles, the diaphragm, and take a deep breath in through your nose for about 7 counts. Hold it. And release. This emptiness is where the magic happens. And I want you to breathe in. And release. We're going to do that one more time. That was just to break up the old air. Now that we are bringing in Dagoda. So it is time to breathe in a little bit once again. And release. Down to the very depths, all that hardened air, let it out and reach emptiness. And I would like you to breathe in Dagoda. And release. So may Dagoda and the western winds be at your back and push you forward, remembering to fill your sails and set sail.
Thank you, Wyatt.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Wyatt. All right. Anyone else have something else to share with Diana? Susan, go ahead.
I just have a quick thing. The book Mirror Work by Louise Hayes can be really helpful when working through some of the things that Michelle had brought up. So if you haven't worked with that book, that might be a resource as well for yourself and anyone else out there that's kind of doing some of that inner child work and just kind of coming back to self. You know, as you mentioned, you went through a divorce and there is, although there's a sense of, you know, release, there's also a sense of loss on some level too. So that mirror work is a really great way. It's not easy. Some of them are easier than others, but it's a 21-day program. So I hope that's helpful and for you or for somebody out there needs to hear that, but it's a great resource.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I love that. Someone needs to hear it. Could be me.
Could be you. Yeah, it could be you and somebody else.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Susan. Well, thanks so much, Diana. I appreciate you stepping in and asking. And that's definitely a step like taking for yourself.
Thank you all.
You're very welcome. By the way, your energy is lovely. I can't remember when I last saw you, but your energy feels very different tonight. So I can tell that the last year has been really big for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's see. We've got, not sure how to pronounce your name. Nikita is next.
Hi.
Hi.
You've done a really good job pronouncing my name. So
Great, great.
So I guess what my question is, it's for me, it's like I benefited today joining the group because I'm interested in the light language as well as shamanism. So with both of those, I was wondering with the like I'm trying to yeah, I'm sorry, can I have some direction? Yeah, like get in here, get centered, direction to go to learn about this galactic stuff, because it's all new to me. I mean, I've heard the light language, I've had some light work done on me, and I thought it was pretty interesting. And I took a crash course to learning how to do light language. So is there a certain amount of time to learn? Like, how do you go about learning light language? And then for shamanism, just direction in that. I feel like a calling to, I really connect with the earth, and when I'm out amongst the trees, in nature, I'm listening and paying attention, but how just to work with that. So I kind of like need some, I guess, guidance and direction. I do have, I feel like native native, like American Indian, or just some kind of, I'm not sure. I'm trying to think, like, is it Native American or what? But Indians that have come in through meditation, and they're there for a little bit, but I don't really work with them. So maybe because it's just not that time for me to do that, but I really feel like connecting with nature and having a sense of being a shaman. So, and I do actually do sound healing because I kind of was called to do that. So I guess I need a little direction in that. And one more question, I apologize. But just as there is a way to do like DNA work here in the physical, that we can go and go through ancestry and do the DNA work, but is there maybe something like that as an intuitive to find out your connections, your lineage to like being connected to shamanism, or having that the type of culture, I guess. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but
It's great. You've totally done a great job expressing what your questions are. So yeah, and by the way, I just want to share too, Galactic Ash is in line. I totally appreciate that she's in line. Feel free to share about all the things that you offer. We often don't do that in the panel, but Galactic Ashley, please go ahead and do that as part of your answer.
Thanks for saying that, because I was like, I don't know. Okay, so so intuitive, Lorelei. Okay, so you said that you took a crash course in light language. That is awesome. So I will preface what I'm about to say by saying you absolutely do not need to take a course in order to have your light language activated. Light language activates light language. So when you listen to light language, you can set the intention that yours also is activated. So beyond just the activations that you get, if you were to be a part, or you want to choose to join the light language activation and healing program that I have, is that we really dive deep into all of the modalities so that you can explore with it and work with other people with it, right? So, and then there's guidance about that, but it's about giving you a space to allow light language to work with you in personally, and then we can break up into groups so that you can actually use it on other people and then get feedback from people on what they felt like your light language was. So light language is absolutely a catalyst to connect with your galactic lineages and your galactic guides. It is a way that I every single session that I do has light language in it, because it's how I receive downloads. It's how I communicate, and it's the easiest way for me to connect with basically galactic beings or Earth or other beings. It comes through me, and it's very much integrated into my channeling. So I work with transmissions. Wyatt took my light language activation and healing program, and he's a shaman. So I'm going to let him talk about how he uses that. You mentioned DNA, but okay. So first, the beauty of light language is it's what I sort of said earlier about how we let it come through us, and it's a way to entrain, to do frequency entrainment with our physical bodies, so that we end up creating a stronger foundation to sort of exist in the world and to anchor these frequencies into our physical body. So it's extremely healing. But what it does is it bypasses the brain and speaks directly to the heart. And it works on our physical body, all of our emotional, mental, all of our bodies, like very directly, without us getting in the way and worrying about what is happening. Some translation is not important, but some people are able to. Only it's just important to understand that if you are getting translations from it, that is literally only like 5% of all of the information that's coming through, if that. So I definitely suggest that you experience light language, you feel drawn to it, and sort of let it happen. It's a very safe way when you put your intention around it. It's a safe way to open up to channeling, because you're essentially channeling every language that your soul has ever experienced, is experiencing, and will experience, right? So all of your aspects, all of it is there. So It will help facilitate if you want to know if you've had past lives as a shaman on this planet, or what you've done in other planetary existences. You can ask. You can allow the light language to come through you. You can see how you feel. Maybe you get impressions. So it's really like what I believe to be one of our most divine, most powerful gifts that we have, and how you use it will be absolutely unique to you. So I facilitate a space for you to discover how your vibration wants to work with light language or whatever it is that we're doing, channeling and other programs, because that's what's important. I'm not trying to make a bunch of little galactic Ashleys, right? And there can only be one of you, and you are here to bring in your specific gift through you and to share it with who you are meant to work with.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah. Also, light language definitely works with your DNA if you're interested in healing DNA. But I just want everybody to know that anytime you make a shift or a change in your life or let go of a fear, you are absolutely altering your DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Thanks so much, Galactic Ashley. All right. And we've got Wyatt in line.
So real quick, I do want to say like Galactic Ashley's courses are amazing. I have done 2 now. The light language course, first of all, I was drawn to it because I had gone on a journey when I was first really starting out with shamanism, and my spirits took me to a place that they have dubbed the stones of creation, and on these stones are just inscriptions upon inscriptions of light language, and they seem to shift and change. And so I'm like, what is this? And my my teachers are like, oh, that's light language. We don't know anything about that. So I'm like, okay. So several years later, I met Galactic Ashley, and I'm like, oh, light language. That's awesome. I'm going to do that because my spirits are bringing it up. So I now perform, because of Galactic Ashley's amazing course. It is a 10-week intensive. I now perform light language as part of my power songs when I'm doing a healing for someone. My light language shifts when I speak with different beings, whether it's a galactic or Mother Earth or so on and so forth. It is a very personal, intrapersonal healing modality, really. And it's absolutely amazing that you have interest in both. Galactic Ashley has coined a term called the Galactic Shaman, and it is like, absolutely, it is out there, and more than likely you may be very well one of the people who can bring this through. As far as shamanism goes, a shaman is one who traverses the realms of the ordinary reality and the non-ordinary reality by using their drum or their boat to sail into the waters of the earth to move through and bring back information from spirits. A lot of channels do this unknowingly, whether that they shift and see stuff. That is another thing. It is just a shift of consciousness to where you're able to speak more directly with the divine. Shamanism is a path of direct revelations, which, like, if you draw tarot cards for yourself or draw runes, this is a very similar thing that you can use for divination. So it is something that you can learn as long as you know how to journey. You can learn shamanism, because it is not about your teachers in the physical reality. It is about your spirits. Your spirits and you already know everything you need to do. It is just the process of remembering it. And then the process of coaching and trusting your spirits in doing this. And in doing so, you are building a relationship between you and your spirits to create a better pathway of trust for you to be able to do healings on other people. Her name is not coming up, but there's a lady shaman who learned her path back in the late 1800s. And she used shaking hands and extraction, and she learned everything when she was a very young kid from her spirits. She did travel around, but mainly her spirits were the ones to teach her. So really just learn how to journey and you can become a shaman. But there are going to be initiations. I myself have died twice. Yay, initiations. And it's just that. I forget exactly your question about shamanism. Now I feel like I'm rambling.
No, that's okay. I just kind of wonder, and I guess what's coming to me now is the fact that, because I hear things about shamanism, like you know, there's different things that can happen that you might not feel safe in, or like dangerous things. Let's just say like things that could be dangerous. But like if I'm called to do something, and I'm trying to think, like, because I know this has happened, and I remember thinking just probably the past couple months, where I was like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't basically test the waters because I don't really know what I'm doing. But I guess, you know, the way I feel too is at this point is to like really trust my team and to, you know, go about it that way, putting the trust into my spirit guides and whoever in the divine and working off that,
right.
Rather than and not to be afraid, because I would love to work with the earth. I mean, I don't know what I'll do with it, but I just feel like there's something there. So yeah, that was kind of like the question of just like trusting. I don't know. It was a whole bunch, but
I do want to say that there's a difference between the healer shaman, the sorcerer shaman, and the warrior shaman. Okay. And so what I practice is the healer shaman path, because that is the path that's really hard to go wrong in. Not saying that there isn't power in the other two. Like the Norse warriors, let's say, the Viking warriors, the berserkers, and there's another one, but it's not a bear, it's a wolf. But anyway, they go into a trance, and it's a war trance. And they do a lot of these things, whether it's drinking of mead with some sacred herbs, or they do other things. They create, or they have this really awesome, scary power where they are literally inhibiting or having a bear or a spirit of their bear or wolf or other spirit animal to work through them. So they have like superhuman speed or superhuman strength, and they become fearless warriors. And so this is why that they are not scared to die, because they are literally possessed by their spirit. On the healer path, though, you are there to learn how to perform soul retrievals, to help the dead cross over, to do this and that. And there's so much that you can do with it. So it's really deciding which path that you want. And I'm not even going to touch on sorcerer. Because,
yeah.
But doing what you need to do and what you're called to do through the healer path, it is going to be hard to go wrong if you trust your spirits enough to do so. If you feel something is off, or your spirits say no, trust them. There is a reason.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate the both of you. Yeah, it feels good. And I'm sitting here and I'm like getting these little chills. So normally for me, that's like validation to whatever is being said. Most of the time it's me. But like I felt that earlier, you know, with Galactic Ashley and yourself, so it's just like I kind of feel like, yeah, like they're saying yeah. So I'm just gonna, you know, I'm kind of open to it. I'm standing in my power at this point. So it'll be what it'll be. I'm ready for it.
Well, blessings on your path. I'm excited to see where
Thank
it goes.
you. Thank you kindly.
Great. And any other practitioners want to jump in? I know we have a number of other practitioners that do some similar related work, might have something to share. Watching to see. Yeah, if anyone else wants to jump in, go ahead. Okay, Daniel, yeah, come on in.
Not anything to add verbally so much as you may have trouble picking it up on your phone, but I sent you an additional resource, Nikita, beyond Ashley, Galactic Ashley, with somebody in Arizona who also does a great job with light language. So she can be an additional resource. It's in the chat to you.
Thank you kindly.
You mentioned something else in the chat, Daniel. Do you want to say? It's up to you.
That is what I'm talking about.
No, there was one other thing you shared in there too. I just didn't know if you wanted to share. The first sentence that you shared. Do you remember? about Galactic Ashley's class?
Oh yeah, that I'm taking her class next month, and I feel like I'm clearing the decks because I'm about to be totally transformed.
Mm-hmm.
So much more of me is going to step forward into my clear consciousness that I've got to get ready for it. It feels really right.
Nice.
It's great. We see why it's all excited about hearing this. So
I'm definitely going to be checking a few of you out. I already took my screenshot, so.
Oh, it's great. It's cool. All right. Yeah. Practitioner, if anyone else want to jump in and share anything with Nikita, right? Yeah, Nikita. Oh, well, let's see. Marcia, great. Marcia, let me go find you and get you pinned in here. I'm so glad you're jumping in. All right, great. Go ahead.
Hi, I did get a hit that you should look into some past life regression. And even if it's not, well, I always feel like I do both past life readings and past life regression. And I always feel like for the client and for myself when I was a client, it's best if they get the information from doing the actual regression rather than just a reading. So you've got lots of past lives where you have been a healer and you have done shamanism, but when you connect with that through hypnosis, then you can you get a lot of information. We'll put it that way. You get a lot of information that you can bring up into this lifetime. So I believe that's why I got into hypnosis in the first place, was to bring the magic up from past lives. So I encourage you to do that with someone.
Yeah, I actually surprised. I did do a past life regression, and to be honest, I felt dissatisfied with it because I felt like what I was digging for, I didn't get. So, and then surprisingly, I came home and seen something on YouTube and did it with YouTube, and I seem to have, I don't remember because I was at this point I was dozing off, so but I got pieces of it and I was like, wait a minute, like I felt like I got more out of that video or whatever it was on the meditation on YouTube than I actually did with the in-person. So now I'm kind of a little hesitant with it because I just didn't, I wasn't happy with it, and maybe I should have talked to her after, like a few days later, but time passed and I just let it go. So
yeah, as with every healer, you need to find somebody you really resonate with, so
right.
Yeah. But if it works on YouTube, go for it again. I mean, see how much you can get out of that,
I know. I have to actually, hopefully I saved the video because I was like, after the fact, I was like, oh my God, I should have, so I think I do it too late, which, isn't good either. So when everything settles down. So, but I definitely appreciate you for that insight.
Sure.
Thanks so much, Marcia. All right, let's see. Yeah, anyone else want to share something with Nikita? Yeah, I love what everyone shared. And trusting yourself, so important.
Yeah.
Listening to yourself. Maybe I'll share too, maybe part of the pattern I notice in your eyes might be a little similar to one of the other people that asked a question. You're energetically sensitive. You pick up a lot from people, a lot emotionally also. And this trait, the order that you have, it can come along with perfectionism or thinking that you need to study a lot with others. I think that exploring new things can be a great thing. And yeah, you want to watch that you don't just study and think you need to study until you really understand something outside of you, like listening to what's coming through you and listening to just what's already here before you study anything. All that's really valuable.
Yeah. Because I do that. And I think more so now I'm at the point where I know I'm at the point where, because I'm finally feeling more confident with standing in my power as a medium, as my spiritual self, standing more in my power, but now I'm at the point where I want to know what it is I can do. So
so it's what you can do and what your gifts are and what you practice. Those are different questions. So exploring different things to see what you can do. Like how much do you, I didn't hear everything. How much do you let yourself practice the gifts that you already know you have?
I want to do it more than what I'm doing it. If I could do it on a daily basis. And I think some of that is, I do have a space where I can practice, I guess. But even just to go on and do lives, like right now, pull cards and stuff, I don't do it as much as I should. So.
And I encourage you to not have it be like a should thing. It's more of the, like, give yourself opportunities with all kinds of people in your life or whatever, just in whatever format, like offering things for free or offering things for donation or choosing to like put yourself available so that people can pay you for your work or whatever. But mostly it's practicing and building your muscles by practicing. The whole story of 10,000 hours. I think that we get better and better and better the more we do it. So being in this community with other people and letting yourself practice is all really good. Yeah. Marcia said something about looking up astrology for certain gifts. Yeah.
Okay.
All kinds of ways.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Exploring
and playing with things. I mean, part of how I educate myself is being at these panels and being around all the different practitioners and experiencing all they do. It helps me tune into what I'm discovering in myself. What's here that I haven't learned to listen to.
Right. During the pandemic, it definitely has helped me move towards the path that I, am to walk. So that actually, where I was everything stopped, and then I was able to join groups and stuff like that. So that definitely, this pandemic helped with that and to make me a little more confident than what I was. So.
Great.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. I so appreciate you all.
You're very welcome. All right, and practitioners, we've got one other general question I'd love to have us answer before we finish up here. So let's see. Andrea asked, she has 2 adopted children who are 9 and 11. They both have experienced quite a bit of trauma and loss. Can they be worked on with just her permission, or does she need some other form of permission? So practitioners, if you could speak to that, that would be great. I think a lot of people would love to know these kinds of things. Yeah, go ahead, Wyatt and Susan, go ahead and jump in, whoever wants to jump in.
So when I do work with children, as long as their parents give consent, and this is just my own thing, as long as their parents give consent, and then I always make sure to ask the child, because if the child is not feeling it and they are grown enough to know and understand what consent is, and they will feel respected. They are humans as well. So I always make sure to ask the child as well. If they are not feeling it, or if they are scared and not want to, they will make it very known. And then the thing with children during sessions, at least shamanic sessions, they love to run around and play. It is not necessary for them to sit still like an adult would want to. They can run around, they can play, they can get whatever they want from the healing. It is not me blowing in the soul or the healthy bits that have flown out during these traumatic experiences. It is me giving it to the power animal for them to give it to their charge, I suppose, to the child when they are ready for it. And like I said, it's really up to the child as well. So as long as it's okay with the parent and the child is okay, then I will work on it. And I think it is the same with most other practitioners.
Okay, great. Thanks, Wyatt. And Susan, go ahead. And then Marcia.
I agree. I ditto with what Wyatt said. And your kids are old enough that, if they're like 2 or something, that's, but 9 and 11, they're old enough to understand, or at least, this person's going to help, this person's here to help you with, whatever the intention is for the session. And I know we haven't addressed this too much, but and it can happen distance wise too. I mean, we're in kind of a virtual world, but that's one thing. If you were doing an in-person session, that's one of the reasons why I love the bowls, is the kids can be, they can do them too. The crystal ones, no, not so much, but they're pretty sturdy, or the chimes, so I try to get the kids involved in the session too. So you're not doing it to the person, whether it's an adult or a child. The session isn't doing it to the person. It's kind of, with them. And just another point, I'm an adoptive mom too. So I see you. My daughter was 5 when we adopted her, and we're her second adoptive family. So I don't know your whole story, but I can understand the challenge of raising an adopted child, and one that's come from a traumatic past. So I want to know, I see you, and bless you.
Yeah, thanks, Susan. All right, Marcia.
Hi, I work with lots of kids, and I agree with what both of Wyatt and Susan said. I also, and I think everybody does this, everybody that's a practitioner, ask the higher self to make sure that the soul is ready. But it's great to work with kids as far as music goes, because they can jump around, move around, and do all the things that they need to do to release. Because Wyatt's right, kids are moving all the time, and that's a form of release for them. So you might not see them have a big somatic release as far as crying goes, but they might go over and start hitting something or banging on a drum or whatever. So allow them to do whatever they need to do. And I would encourage, I mean, with the work that I do, because I use songs in it, I encourage them to sing with me as well. So allow them to do whatever they need to do and watch what happens. But they feel like really good kids, so it's great. And it's great that you're checking into all this too.
Great, and I'll share, I go about it a different way, because I read people in photos as well as people in video or that are in person with me. So I trust that the person's spirit, the person's soul, the person's energy won't let me read them if they don't want to be read. And every once in a while I just can't read someone. So I work that way with people. Anyone else want to share answer to that question from Andrea? All right, great. Well, thanks so much, everyone, for being here. Thanks so much, practitioners, for sharing everything. It's been lovely being all together, and great new topic for us. So I've got a message in the chat, everyone, for a feedback form, if you'd be willing to share your feedback with us. If you give us your email address, we'll put you into a drawing for a free 30-minute session with one of us of your choice. And you'll also get to hear from all the different practitioners. So it's a way we can stay in touch with you too. We've got so many more events coming up at MeWeFairs.com. And let's have you hear from all the practitioners again. And so practitioners will go through and share your name, what you offer, and feel free to share anything about your special if you want to for tonight. And in particular, share all your contact info. So when people go back and watch the video later, they know how to get in touch with you. All right, let's see. Let's go in a similar order again. We've got Susan, Galactic Ashley, and then Marcia. Go ahead, Susan.
I'm Susan Watkins with Inspired Life Essential Wellness, and I'm a Reiki master, a sound healing practitioner, and also an intuitive reader, typically with oracle cards. And my contact information is inspiredlife.service@gmail.com, or you can text me at 206-909-5866. And I offer, like I say, Reiki, sound healing. I like to combine things. I think things are, it's like peanut butter and chocolate. It just works better when they're together. But thanks again for everyone for sharing the evening with us. And we look forward to seeing you again.
All right, great. Galactic Ashley, and then Marcia, and then Wyatt.
So hi, I'm Galactic Ashley. I channel divine guidance for star seeds, connecting them to their star families and galactic lineages. I use light language frequencies and work with your cosmic connections to facilitate high frequency healing transmissions and encoded activations. My next Galactic Guided Intensive, which is a 10-week program, starts on April 5th, and it's called the Light Language Activation and Healing Program. And there's a 10% discount code that's been in the chat tonight. You can find me at galacticashley.com. You can find me on Instagram at galacticashley and on Facebook at Get Your Galactic Groove On. So thanks for coming out tonight.
Sweet. Go ahead, Wyatt, and then we'll have Sandra and Michelle. I think Wyatt, you're next. You're not speaking. I don't know if your sound is.
Oh, am I not?
Okay, you're on. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I thought Marcia was going before me, so.
My mistake, sorry. I'll go back to Marcia.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Wyatt Larsen. I'm a shamanism practitioner and spiritual life coach. I blend the two to be able to help my clients move forward or begin their path of healing. I do have a few offerings as far as sessions go and products. I do a full shamanic healing, which includes extraction, power retrieval, soul retrieval, compassion, depossession, death and dying work if needed, and everything else in between. I also do a lot of what is called, or what I call, shamanic mediumship, where I can connect to a lost loved one or a transitioned loved one, or a spirit or god or goddess of any like, and you can speak to them directly through me. I also create these awesome amulets that I co-create with you with your intention in mind for whatever you need. They're made shamanically through wood, bone, antler, or stone, and very intuitively, where I go and journey to the spirits, the realm of the spirits, and bring back the amulet's power, blow it in, and send it off to you so you can have a little bit of that power of whatever intention you need. You can find me at thewildwoodhollow.com. You can reach me at thewildwoodhollow@gmail.com. And I do offer a 10% off discount if you just mention any of these fairs or panels. Just shoot me an email and I'll send you the code. So thank you all. I am very blessed that you came, and may you go forth in love and light.
Thanks so much, Wyatt. All right, Marcia, you go, and then we'll have Sandra.
I'm Marcia Colver, and you can find me at marciacolver.com. And I have Channeling Divine, and I help people move into their gifts and talents by channeling for them or doing astrology, hypnosis, massage, body work, and all kinds of singing. My phone number is 406-281-0135. And I think the special that I would put up was 30 minutes for $40 tonight. So make sure you tell me that you watched the panel. And thanks everyone for coming.
Thanks, Marcia. All right, we've got Sandra and then Michelle and then Rachel.
Hi, I'm Sandra Jeffs with Soul Essence Awakening. And I have a 25% off special, which is a 90-minute session of releasing trapped emotions, releasing cords, oaths and vows from past lifetimes or from this lifetime. And I also, on the 13th of March, have a sound workshop, which is to discover your personal song. It's also a 90-minute workshop. And you can find me at sandrajeffs.com, and I'll put the information up on the chat also. So sandrajeffs.com. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Sandra. Michelle, Rachel, Daniel.
Namaste, I'm Michelle Skoletsky-Boyd, and I'm an intuitive medium, a best-selling author, and a Reiki master teacher. And so the experiences with me as a clinically certified hypnotherapist, I'm all about self-empowerment. And so I help you go on your own soul journeys. And during the soul journeys, I bring my intuitive mediumship into it, and I help affirm and validate what it is that you're receiving. And so there may be something that you're afraid to say or you're not sure. And then when you hear me say it, you're like, holy man, my intuition's really working. Or, oh my gosh, how did you know? And it's because we all are one. And when I go into these soul journeys with you, I'm actually very much like a lot of people on this panel, very in tune with your intuitive gifts. And some people just need someone to go with them the first couple times before that their confidence builds. And so I'm all about self-empowerment, and that's really what I enjoy, is to see people go off on their own and really embrace what they do. So again, thank you everybody for being here this evening.
Thanks, Michelle. All right, Rachel, and then Daniel.
Hi, I'm Rachel, an intuitive sound healer and soul writer. And the soul writing workshop and also the intuitive healing, I've got a special of 20% off, so it's $80 for the hour. Soul writing, I'm very passionate about, working with you on that level if you're interested. So it's about exploring your soul voice, putting it to paper, and quietening the inner critic within. My website is templeofeden.com.au, and you can reach me at rachel@templeofeden.com.au. Thank you all very much for being here, and have a lovely evening.
Thanks, Rachel. All right, go ahead, Daniel.
Yes, I'm Daniel Steinmetz. I'm a licensed body worker, consciousness-oriented body worker, and a personal wellness consultant. And I can be reached at movingdeeperwellness@gmail.com. I provide body-based whole person wellness services and strategies for living the life you came here to live before you got here and knew what you were here to do. And my work is experiential and is spirit-led. It's not led by me. It's not led by the other person's personality. It's led by their inner teacher and their higher self that lives within them, and my own higher self, which is sourced within me as well. So I provide these services for spiritual seekers and others, because at some level we're all spiritual seeking. So that's what I do. I work at a distance as well as in person when I can. And I learn from every panel that I attend. So I've learned tonight. I've really enjoyed being here tonight.
Thanks, Daniel. And let's see, we've got another practitioner that was here earlier. Chaz does vibrational sound therapy. You can get in touch with him at chazpro@live.com or 510-927-0729. He does all sorts of sound healing and sells all kinds of instruments and other devices for doing sound healing with yourself. And we also had Amanda Root with us briefly in the beginning. She had to leave. She does Coyote intuition, runes, and art. You can find out more about her at snowmoontarot.com, snowmoontarot8@gmail.com. And I'm Laureli Shimayo. I'm an intuitive eye reader and a body psychology coach. I do eye readings on you or people you show me photos of, so that I can answer questions about your soul purpose, your career path, answer questions about relationships, do things like conscious online dating to help you create relationships with people who are your soulmates if you're looking for a soulmate. I also do authentic relating. I do all kinds of different events and things like that, circling and transformational games, and run all these different events. And in the middle of this event, I'm totally motivated. I'm scheduling some sort of practice circle that different practitioners will be able to participate in, so that we can help people open to their gifts. All right, and we have tons more events at MeWeFairs.com. The next one coming up is Saturday, March 13, from 5 to 9 p.m. We have a fair with about 16 practitioners. And one of our practitioners, of course, suggested, this is great, that we do another sound circle again. So let's do a sound circle again on the way out. So go ahead, practitioners, whoever wants to jump in. And by the way, everyone else, thank you so much for being here. And if you want, after we're done with the sound circle, and maybe the thing best to do with this event is just to leave quietly, and we'll just be in the energy of the sound as we leave. So thank you, everyone. Oh, and practitioners, you probably all know this. Yeah, I was gonna say, just stay and we'll have a chance to debrief briefly if you can stay a few more minutes. All right, go ahead.
Oya monya hoya. Oya ya oya hoya mo.
Amanyan shundalahan Manyalaya Manyalaya Yalan Yalanaya Hundashanyai Humanyalanaya Wan Yalana Hundashanyalamuna Alahanyala Wan Yai.
May it be an evening star shines down upon you. May it be when darkness falls, your heart will be true. You walk Olumi Road, how far you are from home. Morning, believe and you will find your